Kap is on.
I'm going to have to say respectfully, I'm going to disagree.
Okay, why is that?
I don't know.
The LA Afternoon Drive takeover.
He likes to lay the wood.
Yeah.
You say Kikuchi.
Wacky forced radio stunt of the year. Ha ha!
Christopher can go to hell.
Oh, nothing worse than the horse.
Nah, man, black don't crack.
Benjamin Pratt is like, how do you say his name? Asminger?
Asminger.
Hey, these Hard Knocks guys are all over me right now. It's like I'm in back in Dayton.
You are a bit killer.
Because you got to talk about sperm.
Here we go.
You don't know. You don't know. And you know why you don't know? Because you're gutless, Andy. You're gutless.
Sedano and Kap.
God, I'm going to melt you.
Beep-ba-da-bop. Boop-ba-da-boop. Do-da-da-bop. Beep-ba-da-bop.
I'm just throwing a bass.
You're doing a little
line here,
bass.
so you keep going,
I like it. Hello, Michael Trudeau.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, man?
How are you?
How we doing?
I'm
In
good.
for Cappy today.
I didn't mean to FaceTime you by accident yesterday.
You know, I was going to answer it. I was, and I think it was it right in the middle of the game?
No, I don't know what time in the game yours was, but I was, so usually before games, usually like 15, 20 minute mark out of the clock, guys are doing their last warm-ups, right? So Mateo, I like to FaceTime him. And I'll FaceTime him and then turn the camera around. Like I'll hit the button to turn the camera.
Yes.
And I'll let him see the stars, right? Like Ant-Man, warming up in my game, or Kevin Durant or whatever. And I do that literally for like a minute or two, and then I go. But the problem was, for whatever reason, Mike and Mateo very close on the iPhone.
Well,
so
I'm
I hit
honored to be that
I hit
close
you
with
by
you.
accident, and then realized, oh crap, I meant to call Mateo.
Yeah. I mean, we do call each other sometimes.
Yeah.
But so it wasn't like it was completely
Rare
crazy. Like,
FaceTime, though. Rare FaceTime.
Well, I do go to the FaceTime call often, though, because believe it or not, the Wi-Fi works better in my house than the phone service.
Right.
So I will sometimes FaceTime audio somebody at first, and they're like, "Did you mean to FaceTime audio me?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, man. I can hear you better."
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. It was a FaceTime audio, I believe, is what I summoned. Yeah, so it might have been when you called me from there, so it might have been already there. So, so that was it. And then I was like, oh, that's why I said, pocket down, my bad.
Well, had you called me any time in the last 2 weeks, it would have been when the Lakers were winning games.
Right.
And now 6-game winning streak.
Look at that. Look at that. What a segue. This is
Leading
why you're
all
a
of
professional.
leading all of the national shows today, so I assume that we will be a little Laker heavy as well.
Yeah, I would assume. Also with you here. And it's a Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday. I don't know if you heard, but the Lakers beat the Clippers for the 6th straight victory yesterday, as Michael mentioned, and the back-to-back wins against the Clippers Friday, Sunday. And we're talking about it all day long. Thanks to Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. So Mike is in for Cappy today on a scheduled day off. Correct, Lindsay?
Yes, it was scheduled probably like 2 months ago.
So when I was in for him last week, it was not scheduled.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. Oh, he had the Mason flu.
Well, wait. So should I be staying away from this microphone? Should I bump over to a different microphone?
I mean, I'm sure
He hasn't been here.
He hasn't been here for like a week, so it doesn't really matter.
Although Bergman's out today.
Oh, yeah?
Sick.
I'm telling you, go take Zafluza, man.
Yeah.
You
George
take
done
that pill, you're good to go, bro.
Oh, DeAndre, before I forget. So at the end of the walk-off that we did on Spectrum, did you hear when Luka goes, hell yeah? Can you clip that just as a general? Yeah, that would be just a good
drop.
Just a good drop that you could use anytime George says something brilliant. That you can just have Luka confirm with a hell yeah. Which, by the way, my 4-year-old son Riggs said hell yeah yesterday when I asked him if he wanted Panda Express for dinner.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Panda Express is yummy, bro.
Yeah, he likes it.
Yeah.
Sorry if it's not a sponsor. Anyway.
That doesn't matter.
So, George, I think that this is about as high. I was trying to figure this out. Is about as high as the vibes have been
in a long
around
time.
the Lakers since the 2019-20 season when they, of course, go on to win the title.
Yeah, hopefully another pandemic doesn't happen.
Now, obviously, vibes were high when the Lakers won the first-round series against Memphis and then the second-round series against Golden State to get to the conference finals. But
but Denver was at the peak of their powers, and I feel like most people with
were waiting.
Most people with a brain were like, that one's not going to work out. Although Lindsay, back then, I remember, what was the phrase used with LeBron? The switch.
Oh, yeah, he flipped a switch.
Yeah, she thought LeBron will flip the
still
switch
has it.
and get them past the Denver Nuggets that year. And I'm like, listen,
he wasn't charged up enough.
That's great. And LeBron he had that switch flip for that first half of that game 4 here at home.
And then he ran out of power.
But not enough juice with the switch.
Well, he has a switch. You have to admit.
Denver was also too good back then. It was less about the Switch, more about the Denver.
Well, this is topical right now because LeBron's February was as good as his MVP season almost any month. So like that's there. But when you think about, if you just think about extracting this out to a playoff push, in LeBron and the whole Switch and everything.
Yeah.
Well, now you've got Luka Doncic.
Right.
There.
No, yeah. He's got a better running mate in that
Luka's
sense.
just turned 26. He doesn't need the Switch, George, and he had a month plus to get better. So all things are possible right now.
And the difference is this, is that Luka doesn't need – unlike AD, Luka has the ball in his hands. Like AD needed somebody to get him the ball.
That's right.
So now it's
that's the key point.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the biggest difference of having Luka on your team is that you've got two hunters, basically, with him and LeBron, and they're going to hunt mismatches for the entirety of the playoffs as long as they're in it.
That and so Ty Lue, as we've talked about on this show many times, he's got all of the defensive strategies and is very good at switching up coverages.
I mean, listen, Chris Dunn has been really good for that team.
Yeah, they were like second in defensive rating, I think, or something like that for the season.
Chris Dunn was in the G League last year. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good defensive coach, to your point.
So with that said, Luka knows how to counter all of the different coverages.
Right,
so
he's seen them all.
They start out in a switch, and he immediately hits 2 threes over Ivica Zubac. So then they go to a blitz, and right out of that, Dorian Finney-Smith gets a layup, then he makes in the first half, and then somebody else get a 3. It might have been Dalton Connect. And so, so those are the 2 coverages that you're going to see. Nobody wants to be in a drop against Luka, which is basically death, because he'll just take his guy into the middle of the paint and either force the guy to the backline defender to come up, and he'll bounce it to somebody else for a layup or a dunk, or he'll shoot himself. You can't drop against Luka.
Right.
So the 2 coverages that you at least, they don't really work against him, but what coaches do, Luka has all of the answers to the test on that.
Right.
And it's just a matter now of his teammates knowing where he functions best within those constructs, because they already know what LeBron does. And that, I think, is the fine-tuning that goes on for the next month and change of the season. What is it, 22 or 24 games left?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the 2. So it's like,
I think you guys have one more game than anyone else because you still have to make up that San Antonio game.
Make up the Spurs game.
Yeah.
And so that will be coming up in this crazy March stretch where there are 17 games.
Dude, you've got 3 back-to-backs this month.
3 back-to-backs, and then I decided to add one more G League game within that. So 18
Look at
games. Man, it's
G League playoffs coming up in April 1st. By the way,
trying to be like
I think I'm going to sneak in one of those South Bay games.
What are you hearing sort of from afar on the Lakers? Like, you were just in Phoenix, right? You just
People, I mean, they think they're for real. I would say this. I think that and I've had pretty much all the Western Conference teams now at this point, right? I've had the Lakers. I haven't had Denver as much, and I'm about to have them multiple times here over the next week because I have them Friday and Sunday. But I get the sense from all the teams I've been around the Warriors, I've been around the Mavericks, I've been around Phoenix, which, let's face it, they're not even going to make the play-in, I think. Minnesota, a bunch, whatever, the Lakers, Clippers. I get the sense that everyone feels like the Lakers are definitely better than they were. And in theory, they are more challenging to deal with. But I think that everyone in the West feels like they've got a shot. And whether that's talking to the Lakers or talking to the T-Wolves, right, and everyone in between, they feel like, hey, man, once the playoffs roll around, we're kind of not afraid of anybody. Like, we feel like we're good. And if you really think about it, you can make the case for 6-7 teams out of the West to get to the conference finals at least. Like, I feel confident that I can make that argument at the very least for 6 or 7 teams to be one of the 2 teams in the Western Conference Finals.
I'll do it right now. OKC, Lakers, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Rockets, Warriors, Wolves. So
right.
That's 7.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Clippers.
No.
I wouldn't say Kings.
No.
I wouldn't say. Well, actually, you know what? Throw the Mavs in there too.
Yeah.
If they get healthy. And they get AD.
Right. But right now, I'm not expecting that to happen.
But like I have Memphis and Houston drop down a little bit.
Right.
A mix of inexperience.
But if they had
but they got a shot though,
dude. You're always one sprained ankle away from advancing around when it's that tightly contested.
True.
So. Yeah, I can make an argument that they can get there.
Just from the Lakers standpoint, though, I think what's happening, and it's always going to be like this, right?
Yeah.
Locally, we're going to have a little bit better of an idea,
right,
relative to when it eventually sticks nationally.
Yeah.
When the trade happened, I think the immediate reaction was, wow, amazing long-term for the Lakers. Luka Doncic, can't believe it. But they don't have a big. We'll see. In season, I'm not quite sure. Then the Lakers just keep winning games, even before Luka
But they have
returns.
size. Even though they don't have a true traditional big, they have size.
Well, so I'm just yes, but I think that was the critique.
No, I got you.
And that critique remains, I think, for some that are
right.
still
Look,
skeptical
against
on it.
Jokic, you know, I don't. Again, I told you this. You know, we've talked about this last week, and I told you this when we talked on the phone. He's not shooting 7 shots again. Like, that's never going to happen again.
No, but I think that so. I'll get back to the Jokic part of it. But like where
he's
the
only one though you have to worry about.
Kinda, but like here, but this is where the narrative builds though. Then so the Lakers keep winning. So then it's like, well, I don't know, but are they really a contender for this season? And this is the outside perspective. You and I are thinking yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's attack that outside perspective on the other side. Trudella's in the house for Cappy today. Lindsay's here. DeAndre's here. Sedano and Kap 710 ESPN.
The Lakers are on fire. Back-to-back wins over the Clippers, and the winning streak keeps on rolling.
And the Lakers win again.
Kings forward Kevin Fiala finished February with 7 goals in 8 games, good for second most in the National Hockey League. And Saturday in St. Louis, he kicked off March with a power play goal.
Fiala back for Doughty. He'll play it in deep for Kopitar. Base of the left circle to the near point Kopitar. To the right circle, one-timer, score! Kevin Fiala let it go from the top of the right circle. The Kings have a power play goal, and they lead it 1-0 with 16:17 to play in period 1.
Tonight, the road trip concludes in Chicago as the Kings meet the Blackhawks for the second time this season. Don't miss the action. Listen live at 5:30 Pacific on 710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app.
No one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by Premier Physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
Hey, Southern California, I'm Ty Pennington, you know, the home guy. Teaming up with Pechanga Resort Casino to give away a brand new house. Imagine yourself in a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home in incredible Temecula, California. All you need to do is play your favorite slots or table games at Pechanga Resort Casino. The more you play, the more entries you earn. Visit Pechanga.com or call 888-PECHANGA for complete details on Home Sweet Win.
Rules and conditions apply. Go to Pechanga.com for more details.
Hey guys, it's Cap. Here's the scenario. Your home is flooded and the damage is severe. Now it feels like your insurance company is turning on you. They won't approve a replacement living arrangement and the adjuster leaves you in the lurch. Take a breath and call Avner Gatt, one of Southern California's largest public adjuster firms. Avner Gatt knows how to fight back when your insurance company makes you feel like a criminal, leaving you with no hope of getting into your home and getting it all back together. With decades of experience and a passion for helping people, Avner and his family take the call themselves. So whether you have a toilet overflow, a broken water line, a burst supply line, a broken fire sprinkler, whatever the water damage is, you call Avner Gatt today at 818-917-5256 or you go to avnergatt.com. It's 818-917-5256 or avnergatt.com. You call, Avner answers, he says hello. Your claim is our game. avnergatt.com.
Michelle Smallman here. Do you want to be at the draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin? Travel Wisconsin is sending 10 lucky fans and a guest to the draft. Experience the thrill of the draft firsthand and make memories that will last a lifetime. Don't wait. Enter Travel Wisconsin's Dream Draft Sweepstakes. Visit travelwisconsin.com/draft to learn how you can win a trip to experience the biggest moment of the offseason. Epic moments that become lifelong memories are waiting to be discovered across Wisconsin. Terms and conditions apply.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
It's the LA Afternoon Takeover on 710 ESPN.
Man, I hate when my brain is right and my heart is wrong.
It was so close to having your brain wrong and your heart right,
Oh,
too.
it would have been so much fun if that were the case.
More Sedano and Kap right now.
Oh, there was some serious fantasy basketball talk going on in the break, DeAndre. Like real nerdy stuff that Cappy his head would be spinning.
Oh, I believe it. Trust me. Cappy don't know ball, man.
So, George, do you miss Cappy, or are you
Oh,
like,
I do miss
hey,
Cappy.
I spent so much time with this guy, like it's a healthy...
No, I miss Cappy.
Okay.
I miss Cappy. But it's like...
That sounded sincere, don't you think?
It is like a marriage, though. Sometimes it's nice to just be away for a few days. I feel like the successful marriages, start with great spouses, right? Your wife, my wife, like they know they can get bleep done when we're not around, and they get bleep done even when we're around.
And we don't have to even think about that for a second.
Correct.
It's just done. Kids are set.
So it's very similar with
right.
Cappy, but I think the success of the marriage is you're not always around. I'm not always around. So there's less chance of any potential pitfalls and infighting over silly stuff.
Well, now you, of course, you don't have. This is where the real life parts from your show life, because I am kind of like your side piece on the show. But of course, that's not, you would not do something like that in real life.
No, correct.
But so does that increase the thrill since you get to have a radio side piece
I would say this. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're not around, I got DeAndre I could talk ball with. So DeAndre and I, we talk
That's
ball.
True. So he's key.
He is key.
Yeah.
He is key. And then we laugh at Cappy a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But now when you're here, like there's three guys that could talk ball, and then Lindsay is not like Lindsay's like some scrub talking ball. Like she knows what she's talking about.
I think I know more ball than Cappy.
I mean, maybe.
I know about slot cuts.
We should have a ball off.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, Lindsay, the last time Lindsay texted me was to gloat about the Cavs.
Can we revisit that for 1 second?
Celtics fan. I'm like, I hate the Celtics.
He hates them.
I just pointed out it was like 25-1 in the first quarter.
Well, what had happened was it was 25-3, and he texted me like Cavs with like a melty face.
Lindsay, let's go.
And I didn't respond because I even said to DeAndre, I said, they just got to make some adjustments, get DeAndre Hunter in there. They'll be all right. And guess what? They had no answer for him.
I would say this. There's no 20point leads are just not safe in the NBA
especially
anymore.
with 5 minutes into the game.
First quarter.
Come on, Mike, you know better.
And that, no. But again, I expected. I wasn't watching at that point. Okay, so that was more just to sort of, because you had been peacocking earlier about the Cavs and how amazing they are, and I'm like, I love that. I think they could actually. I do think they could beat Boston now since they made the Hunter trade. Really, and
they had no answer for him.
And I think Boston. We'll get back to the Lakers in a second. I think Boston is a better team, but I think that this year they're not going to play until the conference finals. I think Boston will be worn down by then.
Do you know what this reminds me of? What Cleveland reminds me of? Remember when the Pacers had when Vogel was the coach and Paul George was super young?
Yeah, Roy Hibbert.
They had Roy Hibbert and David West and George Hill.
Yes.
They remind me of those guys where everyone was like, oh, they're going to beat LeBron and Wade and Bosh. And it was really cute that everyone thought that was the case.
Oh, you're cute storying them. I think they're better than that.
They're definitely better than that.
Not
I
much
think you
better.
could cute story them last year.
Not much better, though. They're better, but not much better. They're not as good as the Celtics.
So agreed, but this is my point. You have to get better.
Now look,
after you win the title, the Celtics did not get better, and they are going to be tired from taking everybody's punches by the time they get to the conference finals.
And what I said to you earlier in the last segment, you're one ankle turn away from advancing. So if Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown particularly turns an ankle, because even Porzingis, they've played without him. He's whatever. He's interchangeable. I mean, when he plays, they're not beatable, I think. But if one of those two guys gets dinged up even for a little bit, then the Cavs have a shot. But I mean, all healthy, I don't believe they can win.
Here, the equivalency
doesn't mean it can't be compelling.
They have a much deeper bench. Their bench is
you're not playing the bench though in the playoffs. The best guys play 40 minutes.
You're playing 3 of the bench guys, though,
right?
Which
That's
matters,
it.
and maybe
Listen,
a 4th. But here's the equivalency.
To quote the great Patrick James Riley, you play 8. You play 8. You trust 7. Okay, that's the reality of it.
It's
in
the
the
Godfather.
playoffs.
I think you got to add one body to that because of the pace of the league today.
Has changed, but okay. So you play 8. You trust. You play 9. You trust 8.
Yeah, same principle.
You know,
but so here's the equivalency last year. Okay, Denver is a better team than Minnesota last year in the playoffs.
Correct. They ran out of gas.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
I predicted that. I thought they were going to lose that series because the Lakers really ran the Nuggets.
But they
hard
also
in the first
vomited
round.
on themselves too.
But the point is, they lost, and they didn't lose because they're a worse team.
We should have a vomit sound.
I was just going to say that's a good get. Good
Boston is going to lose at some point this year
Team
because
America,
they didn't add to their team.
The movie Team America has that one puppet that vomits. There's always that GIF that's everywhere on social media. I'm sure you could find that scene.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
So this kind of, George, this is where it leads me to thinking again about the Lakers and what the run could be. And before we even think about
so
the
let's
matchups,
look at it. Let's look at it real quick.
Yeah.
Let's look at it. So right now, Lakers are 2. They would play the winner of the play-in. Let's just say, for argument's sake, do you want to make it the Warriors or do you want to make it the Timberwolves?
Well, so first of all, the Clippers are going to. I think the Clippers.
You think the Clippers are going to drop to 7?
Well, no, I think they might drop to 9.
So you think the Warriors will get in?
I think it'll be the 7. I think will be either like the Timberwolves or the Mavs. Right, or it could be the Rockets. Honestly, even like the Grizzlies. All of these teams are close enough.
Okay, so let's take them all one by one.
I'd say, but Golden State and Dallas, just based on the
you don't want Golden State in the first round.
No, and I think Golden State gets up to the 6.
Right.
So I think we're more likely looking at either Minnesota or Dallas.
And by the way, I think the Lakers could beat Golden State, but you don't want that matchup in the first round because then you're in like a real series at that point from the beginning.
Yeah, I do think that I think the Wolves, the Mavs, and the Warriors are all real series, though.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you want like the Rockets or the Clippers in the first round,
you want one
or
of
the
them to fall.
Kings or something.
But I don't think one of those teams is going to win the first play-in game.
Right.
And I also, but here's the
so
thing.
Minnesota's the likely scenario. You think
it doesn't even? It's way too early to worry about that type of stuff in the standings because they're also basically tied with the Nuggets. The Nuggets could go on a run. The Lakers could drop to the 3.
Right.
The point is though, they have put themselves in great space to at least have home court for one round just by staying in the top 4.
Right.
And the Lakers this year, George, at home are 23-7. That's the 3rd best record in the league.
Yeah, they're good.
Hell yeah. You know, there you
thanks,
go.
Luca.
There you go.
Nice appearance.
The only better team so far, as I'm sure you could guess, Lindsay, do you have a guess as to one of those teams is?
OKC.
Yes. And how about the other? This is why I asked you, though. There you go. Okay.
Oh.
That's what I thought you were going to start with the Cavs. But
Well, you guys don't give them enough credit, so, you know.
I just
said they could make a compelling case if they get an ankle turn.
I say we think about a friendly wager, George.
That they're going to make the finals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
I think they're going to win the East. I do.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You know, and right now, I think Boston's the best team in the East, but I agree. I think that Cleveland is going to win the East because I think Boston is going to wear down by the time they get to the conference finals.
Nah, man.
Now, part of that's wishful thinking.
If I had to bet, we have breaking news. Go.
It's that Mike Trudell just said that he thinks the Cavs are going to win the East.
I thought there was like real breaking news.
Yeah, they got home court. Boston's going to be tired. Come on, Cavs.
Listen.
Woo! Love it.
That's just your hatred for the Celtics.
Now, if I had to
There's
pick
nothing wrong with that.
the dream scenario in terms of, now this is from a Lakers perspective.
Yeah.
And of course, look, dream scenario, the Lakers get to the finals. And then for my personal life, how about Knicks-Lakers? In the finals.
The Knicks aren't making the finals.
But they're not good enough.
But the next
no
best
way
thing.
they can't defend anybody.
Now, the best case scenario.
Which, by the way, has to drive Tibbs absolutely out of his mind that they're so bad
I just
defensively.
don't think they're good enough. So the best case scenario would be beating the Celtics in the finals.
Yeah.
But the worst case would be losing to the Celtics in the finals. Yeah. So let's go, Cavs.
So what I would say is this.
It would still be a fun finals.
I would like to ask the host of Lakers Talk Daily, who do you think is coming out of the East?
I think it's going to be the Celtics. Honestly, I don't see no one else in the East beating them. When it comes down to the playoffs, too, and you have your best starting 5 against the other team's starting 5, I feel like the Celtics
they are the best team. There's no doubt. I think NBA history has taught us that it is very, very difficult to repeat if you don't add to your team. They have not added to their team.
Agreed. However, I do think the one thing you're also missing is once you've won a championship and you understand what it takes. I'm not saying repeating is hard, right? Like we get it. The Spurs were a great dynasty. Never
since the KD Warriors.
Never,
that was the
never
most
repeated,
team.
right? So great teams have not repeated before. So I think it's hard, but there's also this thing of what it takes to win the 16. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, what is I love Donovan Mitchell.
Denver knew last year.
Literally, he's like one of my favorite people to deal with.
One of your children. He's a little old for that.
No.
Cousin?
No, he's one of my favorite people to deal with in the league. Okay. But Donovan Mitchell has gone. How far has Donovan Mitchell gone? Second round?
Well,
last year they got to
round 2.
Yeah, round 2. And
with Utah, where did he go? Second round?
Utah never advanced.
Second round, I think, right? Yeah. So it's like, that's a big difference. Evan Mobley has been incredible, and I've said it for a long time. For them to win a championship, Evan Mobley needs to be their best player. He's now trending in that direction. However, Evan Mobley has never really been in the depths of the playoffs either.
We're not disagreeing.
You're dropping him off in the deep end of the pool is what I'm saying.
What I'm counting on is ABC anybody but Celtics.
Right.
A, B, C.
Sure.
And all I've got for this, I can't make a matchup thing. I can't make a talent argument. So I'm making the best argument possible, which is you do not repeat unless you add to your team.
Yeah. DeAndre Hunter reminds me of one of those Pacers teams. I'll never forget this. I'll never forget it because I was on First Take when this happened, okay? And I remember, like, somebody making the argument to me. I don't even know who I was on the show with, but somebody was making the argument that the Pacers had traded for Evan Turner at the deadline, okay?
The villain.
And we're like, Evan Turner's going to be the perimeter stopper of Wade and LeBron. And I was like, what?
Come on, man.
And then they were like, he's going to be the key. And I'm like, he's one of the most inefficient players in basketball right now. Like, he's been playing on a Philly team that's not even that good. And David West tweeted and said that you need to shut your analytics ass up. And what I said was, and I responded and said, yes, sir, I will shut my analytics ass up because you will crush me like a grape.
Hey, Lindsay, would Ty Jerome be the second best player on the Heat?
I mean, the Heat aren't good.
After Bam?
See, but
I think so.
You're doing the thing like,
just trying to
that's like the lowest hanging fruit ever because the Heat aren't good.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, they've got probably like 2 bench players that would start on other teams.
Dude, Ty Jerome is a dude. He very big time Austin Reeves vibes. Ty Jerome.
Yeah.
Come on,
I just think,
no, not with Ty Jerome. What are we doing, man?
Yeah, and we're also.
Have you watched Ty Jerome?
We're also making DeAndre Hunter to be like, I don't know, like prime, Scottie Pippen all of a sudden. You know what I mean?
Look, when I was
relax.
He's their.
It's the regular season.
When I was mocking Lindsay earlier in the year, it was because they had.
They're going to get to the conference finals.
Not a single big wing. They got a big wing. He's
Look,
not
this is
great,
a great story
fine.
for Cleveland.
It's not a cute story.
No, it's a great story, I said. They're going to
50
get to the
10.
conference finals. It'll be the furthest they've ever been since, ever without LeBron.
They're 50-10.
They're good.
Yes.
But they're not better than the Celtics.
Agreed, but Boston will be tired.
No.
Yep. It's going to happen.
Listen, you better hope that this Boston
is
tired.
partly hope. It is partly
You better
hope.
hope Boston's going to be tired. Because if the Lakers end up seeing Boston, they're going to lose.
Yeah, but look, if Boston does get past the Cavs, they will be very tired.
Even more tired than they were before.
Because the Lakers are going to be tired going through the West.
Hey, DeAndre, do you think? Let me ask you a question. Will the Celtics be very, very tired in the finals? Play the Luka song.
Hell yeah.
Oh, see?
Yeah. I don't know.
There we go.
All right, listen. Let's get
I
a
was
little.
hoping we were going to vibe on that. I was like trying to look. It was my bad. I should have set it up.
All right, let's get further
I
into
should have
this.
said, "Hey, Luka, do you?" Oh, my bad. Go ahead, George.
We'll get further into this discussion in a moment. Don't be a Cappy and make me go over the break here, okay? But I also want to get into.
I don't remember what time the breaks
So the
are.
combine. Yeah.
It's been a long time.
At least
since
that's
I
fair.
hosted a
You
show.
don't remember.
Yeah.
I want to get into the combine a little bit because there was an interesting conversation I thought about Travis Hunter and Shohei Ohtani and comparing the two.
Oh, I know where I stand on that.
Which I want to get into on the other side. But first, ESPN LA, the Lakers, and BBGO are teaming up to find the Lakers GOAT, greatest fan of all time. Are you the GOAT? If so, you can win the Ultimate Fan Prize Pack, which includes courtside seats, a year's supply of BBGO, and Lakers gear. Go to LakersGoat.com. That's LakersGFOAT.com to learn how to submit your entry.
Kings forward Kevin Fiala finished February with 7 goals in 8 games, good for second most in the National Hockey League. And Saturday in St. Louis, he kicked off March with a power play goal.
Fiala back for Doughty. He'll play it in deep for Kopitar. Base of the left circle to the near point Kopitar. To the right circle. One-timer. Score! Kevin Fiala let it go from the top of the right circle. The Kings have a power play goal, and they lead it 1-0 with 16:17 to play in period 1.
Tonight, the road trip concludes in Chicago as the Kings meet the Blackhawks for the second time this season. Don't miss the action. Listen live at 5:30 Pacific on 710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app.
Hey, it's Mace. Want a new game?
Kings forward Kevin Fiala finished February with 7 goals in 8 games, good for second most in the National Hockey League. And Saturday in St. Louis, he kicked off March with a power play goal.
Fiala back for Doughty. He'll play it in deep for Kopitar. Base of the left circle to the near point Kopitar. To the right circle. One-timer. Score! Kevin Fiala let it go from the top of the right circle. The Kings have a power play goal, and they lead it 1-0 with 16:17 to play in period 1.
Tonight, the road trip concludes in Chicago as the Kings meet the Blackhawks for the second time this season. Don't miss the action. Listen live at 5:30 Pacific on 710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app.
hassle, just a great offer that gives you peace of mind. Call 888-390-AS-IS or visit sellersadvantage.com. Don't worry, sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRE number 01961658.
Don't worry, sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime, forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. With 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Sedano and Kap on 710. Yeah. Sedano and Kap continues.
Really?
Right now.
All right, Sedano and Kap, Trudeau's in the house today. Cappy is off today and I believe tomorrow.
Hey, I'll be in Brooklyn next week.
You will be. That's right. You guys are going to be on the road. You have like a strange, basically the second week of March and the last week of March, you guys are on the road.
It's exactly. It's like the first week home, then gone for a week, then home for a week, then gone for a week. Just
Right.
every other week,
Yeah.
and playing tons of games within all of that contracts. But yep, this trip. I mean, this sets up. I don't want to step on what you were going to go to with the NFL. I'll just say that tomorrow's game is going to be a harder one, I think, than people realize. New Orleans is terrible when you look at their record,
Right.
but they've won 4 of 5.
Zion is playing more.
Zion's playing. They traded Brandon Ingram, who was hurt, for Kelly Olynyk and Bruce Brown, both
Right.
of whom are pretty good rotation players. So
Right.
like the Pelicans are playing pretty well all of a sudden. And I just think tomorrow's one of those sort of you don't look ahead to Boston, try to take care of business. But anyway, what'd you see at the Combine?
So, Travis Hunter, I watched him play a bleep ton too. I think Travis Hunter is going to be able to play maybe not 100 and whatever snaps he was playing when he was playing both sides of the ball in college, but I could totally see he plays 70 snaps on defense at corner and probably 15 or 20, depending on the game, on offense too, and hell, maybe even special teams. This guy may be, because we've seen it before. We've had Dion do it. We've had a number of guys historically, play a few plays here and there. But I think he can sustain playing maybe almost 33 to 40, maybe even 50% of his workload on the other side of the ball. I think he's capable of that, which is kind of Ohtani-esque. He might be the most unicorn of unicorns that we've seen play football. I would let him do it because I think he's got the track record to prove it. He's done it for 3 years in college. It wasn't like he just did it one season.
Do you have the percent, the number of snaps?
He played about an average of 115 to 120 snaps for the last 3 years.
Right, but what was the balance offense defense?
It was almost 50-50.
50-50. Okay.
Almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the comment that he made though was about the difference between that and what Ohtani does, right?
Right. I mean, Ohtani only has to pitch every 5 days when he's healthy.
But which one do you think is harder? Because to me, it's pretty, come on, let's not put him in the same sentence. Before he's even done it, is Shohei Ohtani,
Oh, I would say that having, if he were to try to play literally every down of a football game, that's harder than what Ohtani's doing, in my opinion. If he were to try to replicate what he's doing in college, if he's going to play 120 snaps, no chance. So, to me, there is not even it's not even close that he would be more impressive if he did both at a high level.
I guess we have to almost separate two things. So there's the
imagine if Justin Jefferson was also your best shutdown corner.
Well, this is where again I want to separate the difference between the physical ask in one day, because there's no doubt asking somebody to play 2 ways in a football game on just one game is harder than asking somebody to pitch and to hit. But what I'm trying to get at is the spirit of this, which is harder to do at the level that the player will do it at. And Shohei Ohtani is the best hitter in the world. And he is also one of the best pitchers in the world.
Right. I would say he's like a top 10% pitcher, and he's like a top 1% hitter.
He's the top hitter.
Correct.
Yeah. It's just that.
Right.
So like that. So it's the difficulty in what Ohtani does isn't just the fact that he can pitch while also being that great as a hitter.
Right.
It's that he can be so awesome at both that he can impact winning in a way that nobody can even come close to. And in Hunter, if he can physically accomplish the task of playing every down, can he impact winning? I mean, we don't even know yet.
Yes,
I think we don't even know to what level he's going to succeed at this level.
Agreed. But what was Ohtani impacting winning on the Angels?
Yes.
No.
I mean, yeah.
Not to the point where they made the playoffs.
They would have been that much more stinky as they already were stinky.
Sure.
It's not his fault.
But I think with both sports, albeit not obviously apples to apples, I think that this is what the one thing the sports have in common is that it takes more than one guy. Like, unless that guy's the quarterback in football.
The better equivalency for me would be if Hunter's got this argument, hey, this is the hardest, it's harder than baseball, and then a baseball player was drafted in the same, let's say, first round, right?
Yeah.
Super high pedigree, and hey, we're gonna let him pitch some, and he's also gonna hit. But then I'm like, okay, then I'll take the argument. But when you're going to the guy that is just this ridiculously impactful, that's when I roll my eyes a little bit at the comparison. That's all.
Because you don't believe he can be that impactful?
Well, I don't think anybody can be as impactful as the guy that is the best hitter in the sport.
I think
and
he's
one
got
of
a
the
shot.
Best pitchers.
I think he's got a shot.
No one in Major League Baseball history has done basically since Babe Ruth.
You legit have GMs at the top of the draft who have come out publicly.
Where's he going? What number? Where's he going to go in mocks? By the way,
I mean, he's a top 3 to 5 guy, no matter what. I mean, it just depends on where the quarterbacks go and if the teams want quarterbacks. So, like, there's talk that the Giants are going to go after Aaron Rodgers and they want to trade for the first pick to bring in Hunter.
The most recent mock I saw had him going 3rd to the Giants.
Right. So there's talk the Giants would trade up to 1 potentially with Tennessee to get him if they had to. So, what I would say is this: like, if you watch him. He's like, again, at the top of the draft, two of the 3 GMs in the top 3. I forgot which ones in one. Tennessee and
Titans,
maybe the
Giants, then Patriots.
So there were
Jaguars.
2 of them. I forgot which 2. I could look it up, I'm sure. But 2 of the 3 said complete polar opposite things. They said, one guy said he is an elite level corner right now, and he's very good at wide receiver. And then you had another GM 20 minutes later come on and say, no, he's an elite level wide receiver and a very good corner. So you have 2 GMs who have basically said the complete opposite thing, but both saying he's going to be pretty damn good at both. So what I'm saying is that yes, he has a shot to be football's Ohtani, because the guys who do this for a living, and I'm not saying they don't bat 1,000.
Yeah.
But when 2 different guys are telling you that he can be an elite receiver, one says he's an elite receiver, the other one says he's an elite corner, it goes to show you he can be elite. The ceiling is he can be elite at both.
So now the next level, and this is, I guess, what I was alluding to in the unknown element of it, is the ask on the body. And I get this once a week.
It's a lot.
I get this once a week. But and when you're going against guys now that are at least on his level athletically, which very few people in Division I college are, like at the level of Hunter. Okay, he's going against some great athletes, sure, but he's not going against every single guy that's a great athlete like he will now in the NFL.
Right.
And so how do you possibly make it through a game without any rest?
Oh no, I get it. He can't
consistently,
right?
You know?
Like, that's why I'm saying, like, I could see him playing 60 snaps on defense, right, being a corner, whatever he's going to be. Which is pretty much the entire game. And then he's going to probably play 20 to 25 on offense, if I had to guess.
Yeah, give me Ohtani.
I mean, the argument I'm making is, I'm not saying one or the other. I'm just saying it will be closer than people think.
The fact that we can have the argument, I suppose, is a credit to what his potential is and how unique he is, for sure.
Yeah, I think he's as close to that as we've ever seen. All right, coming up next, let's get back to the Lakers. So Jeannie Buss had some interesting comments recently, I believe on the Rich Eisen show, about the Luka Doncic trade. And I just felt like it made a lot of sense, because Lindsay made a great point on our call today about how she was talking about the trade getting out and how that could have ruined the team. And we've kind of already seen an example of that this season in the NBA. So we'll get to that and make that correlation. Trudell's in the house for Cappy, 710 ESPN.
The official partner of Palm Tree Crew at the Waste Management Open is now bringing fans to the biggest rivalry in golf, the Ryder Cup. USA versus Europe. Fired up crowds, unmatched intensity. This isn't just golf, it's a battle for supremacy. With Absolute Sport, you'll get premium access, luxury accommodations, and the ultimate fan experience. Don't just watch history, be a part of it. Visit us.absolute-sport.com. That's ABSOLUT-sport and make your dream trip a reality.
Hey, you feel it? Days are getting longer, sun is getting warmer. Looks like our SoCal summer is right around the corner. Here in California, we're all about choosing chill. From hitting the beach to the best hiking trails, to going all out to support our teams. One thing really ties it all together. Enjoying it all with good friends and a cold Coors Light. Pick up Coors Light near you or get it delivered to your door today. Visit CAChooseChill.com to learn more. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
The CONCACAF Nations League Finals arrive at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, March 20th to 23rd.
Kings forward Kevin Fiala finished February with 7.
Panama, followed by Canada versus Mexico. The dream is now. Don't miss the Final Four national teams in the semifinals doubleheader. One ticket, 2 matchups. Get your tickets now on Ticketmaster. For more information, visit CONCACAFNationsLeague.com/tickets.
ESPN LA and BBGO are going on a quest for the Lakers GOAT. No, not the GOAT. The GOAT. The greatest Lakers fan of all time. Think it's you? Upload your pic or video to Facebook, Instagram, X, or TikTok, and tell us your favorite Lakers memory. Use hashtag LakersGoat, GFOAT, and hashtag promotion, and follow at ESPN Los Angeles. The Lakers GOAT is going to be rewarded with courtside seats, a VIP private tour of the Lakers UCLA Health Training Center, a year's supply of BBGO, and more. The Lakers GOAT. Is it you?
It's the Travis and DeMarco Show.
Every weekday morning at 9 a.m.
Luka, so watching him warm up, he is insanely more athletic than I thought. Like, he was doing dunk contest stuff in warm-ups. It was impressive, right? Wow, this dude's a real athlete. Then watching him play live. Plays fast, plays hard, all out, just like LeBron.
It's Trav and D-Far. Back tomorrow after Clinton and Friends.
On LA's mega sports station, 710 ESPN.
Hi, this is Sean McVay of your LA Rams. The Rams play here. KSPN, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
710 ESPN.
Sedano Kap for your afternoon right now on 710 ESPN.
It's time for what you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
What you need to know is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times. Just to 90 minutes from wherever you are. Take it away, Lins.
Thanks, Sedano. All right, so yesterday the Houston Dynamo hosted Miami FC, and everyone was really excited to go to this game, probably spent a lot of money on tickets because they wanted to see Messi. But turned out Messi wasn't available because he's kind of like resting from an injury, and so the Houston Dynamo did something that I thought was really weird but cool, but I don't know how I feel about it. They basically sent out an apology tweet and email to people who had bought tickets saying that they would give complimentary tickets to anybody who purchased tickets to an upcoming game.
Okay.
Because they didn't get to see Messi, and they didn't want to disappoint their fans.
Right.
So people were like divided on the internet about this and whether or not they should have done that, because on one hand they're saying, hey, we know you really wanted to see Messi, so sorry, we'll give you free tickets, but on the other hand it's like, hey, like, don't you buy tickets to come see our team?
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's actually goodwill, I think, for, the MLS is still very much in its infancy, in my opinion, in regards to getting relevancy. They've done a much better job over the last couple of years. Messi has certainly driven a ton of interest into the sport. I mean, Apple would not have made the deal, I think, that they made without Messi being involved.
Fair. Yeah.
So, I think it doesn't hurt the Houston Dynamo to give out a voucher for free tickets occasionally,
Yeah, I like the spirit behind it. I just think so. George and I are very spoiled to get to go to as many games as we do. Now, obviously, that was part of the idea, right? And wanting to be a sports broadcaster.
Yeah.
I'm around all of these fans all the time, and like on the occasion. And thankfully, it's very rare that LeBron isn't actually on the court, which is one of the best things about LeBron over the years, right? If you pay to see the Lakers, or in the past the Cavs or the Heat, you're most likely going to see LeBron. On the occasion that you don't, of course you're going to feel for those fans, but it is part of the deal, right? Like, it is part of sports. You never know what's going to happen. You never know for sure who's going to be available, and that certainly extends to Lionel Messi at this stage of his career, when he is past his prime in terms of the day-to-day playing in the best leagues in the world, as he did previously. MLS is clearly like the soft landing. Okay, this is not peak Messi anymore, even though we just led Argentina to the World Cup. So it's just, that's kind of baked in. And as somebody that wants to take my kids to see Messi, that's one of the issues where I'm kind of like, all right, well, they're going to be in Minnesota on this date in the summer when I'm off. Do we buy tickets? Oh, well, what's the likelihood they're going to play? I got to check and see, is Argentina playing like in a week after that?
Right, like a cup qualifier or something like that. Right. Yeah.
And even if they're not, if he's fully healthy, like he may just not play that given day because he's played thousands of games.
And he's old.
Up to this point. Yeah, because he's old.
And he's still really good, but he's old. Right?
Yeah. So it's kind of a given risk in Houston trying to find a way to
Well, you should just be going to Minnesota to see like that cute little adorable nephew of yours or whatever, or niece.
Mia. Shout out to my niece Mia.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks, George.
So you have it. That's your excuse. And if Messi happens to play, then you're already there.
Yeah, you kind of got to take it as an added bonus. But it's like we talk about the same thing. I want to take my kids to Europe to see some European soccer. And then, okay, so how do I count on the players that we really want to see being able to play?
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Maybe they need to like find a bigger star or somebody to like market things around aside from just Messi.
Well, I mean,
they are, but it's just yes. Go ahead, George.
What I would say is easier said than done. You're not going to find a bigger star than Messi. That's like saying, you like the NBA is struggling to find someone to replace LeBron. It's literally been the talk of the entire basketball world for a week.
And that's the thing. We can't like create it.
Right. It has to happen naturally.
It's just going to happen.
Right.
And I think MLS, this is to George's point about it still being in its infancy, like relative to the English Premier League, which has been going on for literally over 100 years.
Right.
Now, they didn't call it the Premier League until X amount of years ago, but all these teams have been there. MLS is like 30 years old.
Yeah.
So the U.S. needs another like 40 years,
right.
I think, to get to the point where, all right, now, you know what? Instead of the best kids in America going to Europe, they're just going to stay. And it's already happening.
Right.
LAFC has a youth system.
Right.
They just started like 2 years ago.
Like Messi's kids. He's got like these little kids. Like one of those guys needs to be Messi.
Mateo, by the way.
No, not soccer.
No, it's one of his kids'
names.
names.
Mateo's kids. Not even my kids.
No, Messi's kids.
I'm about to say Mateo's a hooper, man. You seen that jump shot?
I'm pretty sure one of Messi's kids is named Mateo.
There's a guy named Jerry here, young kid, really nice kid who works here. He said he wanted to take DeAndre.
Yeah, Tiago, Mateo, and Ciro.
Oh, there you go.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Messi's son, yeah.
There you go. So we had Jerry here. DeAndre played JUCO ball. Okay, so Jerry, who's like 5'4", right?
Yeah, on a good day.
Right. He's like 5'4". He said he would take DeAndre, and then literally said he would take DeAndre in the post. And I'm like, bro, what are we talking about here, Jerry? So I sent DeAndre a video of Mateo shooting from 15 feet, and I said, tell Jerry he's got to beat Mateo in a shooting contest before he takes you on.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
And Mateo can beat Jerry.
Yeah, exactly.
So that jump shot is nice. I ain't gonna lie to you.
There you go. Mateo Messi.
Mateo Messi.
Born in 2015,
right. So
by
when
the
Mateo Messi is playing in the MLS and all of us, then they got a shot. It's just way too early in the MLS's history.
Yeah, right now we're getting like the older guys when they're done with their leagues in Europe, but pretty soon.
Yeah.
And so the Galaxy, by the way, they won the MLS Cup last year in part thanks to Gabriel Peck, who was a Brazilian kid who years ago may have gone to Portugal first. And now what's going to happen is all the European teams, they're going to bid on him, and they're going to probably take him from the Galaxy in a year or two. But in the meantime, so it's coming. It's coming. It's just going to take a little time.
It takes time.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. What were we talking about here? I forgot. We're getting back to the Lakers. Oh, Jeannie Buss. That's what it was.
Yeah, Jeannie Buss.
So from the Rich Eisen show, she was asked about, was she worried about the Luka deal getting out into the stratosphere, and then all of a sudden someone breaking the news before they actually consummated the deal. And here's what she said.
The conversation started a couple weeks before the trade was executed. And what was really important was Rob Pelinka, the general manager, and I, we did not want any part of it to leak out because it's very disruptive to a team that's trying to focus on getting better.
And she's right. So the perfect example is I was in Phoenix yesterday, and it got out that they wanted to trade Bradley Beal and they wanted to trade Kevin Durant. And I'll tell you what, that team folded like a deck of cards yesterday.
Vibes weren't great.
No, they were not. And, Durant even used the word embarrassing. I did a third quarter interview with Bradley Beal, and I'm paraphrasing here. He basically said that they were, that they weren't giving the proper effort defensively, and their execution was horrible. Like, I'm paraphrasing, but that was basically what he said on national television in the middle of the game. So, yeah, that's what happened. So Jeannie's right. Like, had that gotten out, Lord knows what that would look like. Hell, the Lakers went through it when the Chris Paul thing didn't go through, and then Powell and Lamar and all that stuff. It didn't go so great after that.
We watched it, especially Lamar. And again, this is where these guys are people, and some people respond to that with oh, yeah, F you, I'm fine. I'm going to play harder. Some guys respond to that like I've been wronged in my life too many times, and I'm out. I'm checking out mentally.
Yeah.
I mean, Phoenix, so that's all relevant for sure with Phoenix. I also think the fatal flaw, though, is just the personalities and kind of the skill set. Beal, Booker, KD, they're all super skilled guys.
Oh, yeah, but they're all very similar.
But none of them is sort of like an alpha leader, follow me, tough guy, do the little things. Like you have to have a mix.
That's why they wanted Butler.
And Butler would have fit much better.
Right.
They needed somebody like that, and obviously Butler has gone to help Golden State for that reason. Like, they had a little bit of that in Draymond, but they just needed some more roster versatility.
Skill. Yeah.
They needed somebody who could attract the double team.
Right.
So Phoenix can do that, but they don't have the grit. And they weren't able to get it with the role players that they had.
And those three guys, their shot profile is very similar, is what I would say.
A lot of jump shots.
Yeah. So I think that you need somebody that can go to the free throw line on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? And Jimmy does that, right? Ant does that, right? Luka and LeBron still do that when they want to. When LeBron puts his head down, he's going to go to the free throw line. Nobody gets more free throws than the Lakers. Just ask the opponents. They talk about it all the time.
LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves.
Right.
Well,
and Austin. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's fair.
all elite doing that.
How is Austin doing, by the way?
So I just got I think the injury report is coming out soon.
Yeah.
And so let me double check before I say it if it's out.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you don't break news here.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
Is it okay? So the injury report is not. It'll be out soon. So I don't know what he'll be listed as, but clearly when JJ Redick, we asked him about it yesterday, and the MRI came back clean, essentially. So that's great news. So it's not it's not a strain, which brings with it some sort of it's just soreness in the calf.
I was very worried about him because when you and I were sitting next to each other, we were like, hey, wait, you're like, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but Austin's not back yet. And I was like, oh.
George is doing the game on ESPN, right? And I'm doing the game for Spectrum, so we're sitting next to each other. And I was like, I think Austin just went to the locker room. And, sometimes guys will just go to the locker room.
Yeah, you got to go pee.
Take care of business. Yeah. And once I found out it wasn't, because there wasn't an obvious moment that we saw, right, where he pulled up lame or something. Yeah. And long story short, it seems like he's fine. Who knows? Maybe he misses another game, but it doesn't seem like it'll be a long absence at all.
I found out yesterday. I mean, to your point, guys just go to the bathroom to pee sometimes, and I found out I was gonna. So when I was gonna do the first quarter interview with the T-Wolves, as the road team goes first, it was either going to be Julius Randle, one of your children. Yeah, one of your sons from back in the day.
Great guy.
And I love Julius.
Yep.
And or Mike Conley, because they had played well in the first quarter.
Another great guy.
And then I asked the PR person from Minnesota, I'm like, we're thinking either Conley or Julius. And she's like, well, let me know, because Mike likes to go to the bathroom at the end of the first quarter. So that means I'd have to go to the locker room to make sure he's out for. And I'm like, oh, there you go. Now I know Mike Conley's pee schedule, basically. Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And he knows how hydrated he needs to be.
Yeah. Well, especially at 37 years old or whatever he's at. Yeah. So we went with Julius. Julius had a bigger first quarter. It was his first game back, so it was very easy. So there you go.
Yeah, how was he?
He was great.
Yeah.
He kind of got caught up in the air where he was trying to explain something and then kind of lost his train of thought very quickly. And there's like, you know what I'm talking about, man. He's like, I'm just tired. I'm like, yeah, of course you're tired. It's your first game back after 13 games off.
He's working with a professional. Yeah. And and trust me, all the times that Cappy goes off like that, you know how
to bring him back on the rails.
You know how to do
it was
that.
like Cappy.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like a basketball Cappy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the first and last time that Cappy will be compared to Julius Randle.
Probably.
Yeah. But fitting.
But yeah, like the Suns, it's just bad, man. Like the vibes, not good. They're not going to make the play-in, which is honestly, if we're looking at, everyone talks about what's the best story in the NBA. To me, it's probably It's probably the Pistons.
The Pistons, yeah.
If I had to pick one, because they were literally the worst team in basketball last year. I mean, they have more wins already than they had combined the 2 previous seasons.
Right.
I'd say the Cavs are in that conversation too,
Rockets,
right?
a little bit.
Rockets for sure.
Yeah.
But like the most disappointing, it's not even close that it's the Phoenix Suns.
Can I make one nomination?
Who?
The Sixers.
Okay, that's fair. But I think
catastrophic. But if I'm going to make your point, it's because the Sixers got taken out by injuries more than anything else.
I mean, these guys are playing.
Yeah, they're playing.
They're playing. They've been in and out of the lineup, but they've played the majority of the games. The Sixers have not. Like, Embiid has played, 35% of the games or something like that?
I don't even know.
Not even that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and even Paul George has missed about, almost half the season.
Yeah, so they're now 4 games out of the 10 spot. Yeah. And there are, 21, 22 games.
No, it's not going to happen. I'm telling you.
It's done. Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
And
I would be stunned.
They don't have. Wait, I know they have very few picks. Do they have this year's pick?
They don't have anything, bro.
I don't think they have this year's pick.
No.
This
they got
year's
some
pick
swaps
goes to
and
Houston,
stuff.
I think.
Yeah.
So Houston's going to be making.
They have next year's pick.
Houston's going to be making their pick this year. So the only thing worse than having a year in which everything collapses
is that you don't
this,
have the actual
is to
picks.
not even have your pick.
I know, it's bad.
Because they can't just be like, okay, well, you know what? It hasn't been our year, but we're going to get into the top 10 now. Yeah. So, they'll probably keep trying to compete. But
is it too many superstars on the court at the same time with the Suns? Is that the reason why? Because you look at the way they play, like the spacing is off, and then obviously with Bradley Beal in the beginning of the season, he's in the starting lineup. Then it's like, okay, well, now we got to put you on the bench, and he's not comfortable with his role because it's like he feels like he should be a starter and taking more shots.
It's a combination of what we were talking about earlier. It's shot profile, very similar. And also, there's not like a guy that does the dirty work. You know what I mean? And they're guys who do the dirty work. Is like Ryan Dunn, who's a rookie. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have that. Like, you got to have. They've made. The roster is somewhat poorly constructed, is what I would say.
So
yes.
Beal, especially on that amount of money, right? Like $50 million, that has to be a perfect fit next to the 2 stars that are already there.
Correct.
If you're going to do it. And when it's not, that means you don't have any money to address that in different ways.
Correct.
And they tried, even though it was a vet min, they tried to bring Tyus Jones in there, who's a professional backup point guard, but he's small.
Yeah.
He's not physical. He can't get a rebound.
Right.
And you're playing him on top of those guys.
He's a perfect backup to your point.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
But he'd be a perfect backup on a team that is huge.
Right.
Like he's not like Memphis, which is where he
or
was a
Minnesota,
perfect
right?
Yeah, but he's not a perfect backup on a team that needs physicality and toughness, and so it's just the mix of players don't work.
Hey, coming up next, let's check in on the Dodgers and what's going on in spring training. But first, it's an LAFC ticket giveaway on 710. Call 877-710-ESPN right now. That's 877-710-3776 for your chance to win tickets tomorrow for the game at BMO as the Black and Gold battle Columbus in the CONCACAF Champions Round of 16. Be caller number 7 right now at 877-710-ESPN. 877-710-3776. You're home for LAFC.
Hell yeah. All right. The Lakers are on fire. Back-to-back wins over the Clippers. And the winning streak keeps on rolling.
And the Lakers win again.
Will the Lakers keep their streak alive when the Pelicans come to town tomorrow night?
They're 6th in a row.
Lakers versus Pelicans. Pre-game coverage starts tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on the home of LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers.
And they just keep rolling.
710 ESPN.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. At Los Angeles International Airport, changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. The LAX Economy parking structure is now open with thousands of smart parking spaces, as well as hundreds of EV charging stations. Modernized terminals have biometric gates for faster boarding, and in the future, the People Mover train will connect travelers to LA Metro. For more information, go to their website, flylax.com/transforming-LAX. That's flylax.com/transforming-LAX.
Hey guys, it's Cap. Here's the scenario. Your home is flooded and the damage is severe. Now it feels like your insurance company is turning on you. They won't approve a replacement living arrangement and the adjuster leaves you in the lurch. Take a breath and call Avner Gatt, one of Southern California's largest public adjuster firms. Avner Gatt knows how to fight back when your insurance company makes you feel like a criminal, leaving you with no hope of getting into your home and getting it all back together. With decades of experience and a passion for helping people, Avner and his family take the call themselves. So whether you have a toilet overflow, a broken water line, a burst supply line, a broken fire sprinkler, whatever the water damage is, you call Avner Gat today at 818-917-5256, or you go to avnergat.com. It's 818-917-5256 or avnergat.com. You call, Avner answers, he says hello. Your claim is our game, avnergat.com.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News & World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Sedano and Kap on 710.
I'm a cocky son of a like, there's no question about that.
Sedano and Kap continues right now.
Oh. This is where Cappy would go, yeah.
You know, I like little Sabrina Carpenter.
She's good.
And she's little also.
She is tiny.
Yeah, my wife turned me on to Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh. Nice.
Little, you know, good beats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seemed kind of like the It Girl. What I was shocked to see was that she was with Paul Simon to debut the SNL 50.
Yeah, that was weird.
I was like, I mean, look, and I get it. She's kind of hot right now in terms of it seems like in terms of just American music culture, but I thought, you know, I thought there would be, I don't know, it has to be either Beyonce or Taylor Swift if it's anybody, but Paul Simon was a given because that's Lauren's guy.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But
and he's been on a bunch of times.
I don't know. Who'd you think, who else could it have been, Lindsay? Did you think anybody else could have been in there?
I don't know. I think she was great. I thought he was just kind of out of practice, maybe.
No, she did a great job. There's no doubt. I'm just saying
she made it work.
Yeah.
If it weren't for her, could have been a.
I mean, how old is Paul Simon, though?
Sure, but it doesn't mean he needs to be still performing.
Something.
By the way, George, you didn't ask why we were playing espresso.
Oh, why were we playing espresso? Because I was drinking it earlier?
Yup. We got espresso Sedano today. You could tell. I love espresso Sedano.
Well, maybe he's revved up more because his side piece is in here,
right?
As opposed
could be that
to the
too.
coffee.
We talk.
Maybe it's a combination.
It's a ball
I mean,
day.
DeAndre did say when we went to break, he's like, "Wow, we just spent a whole segment talking about the Eastern Conference."
We don't really get to talk about the Eastern Conference very much.
I was excited, man.
I mean, I did try to shift it back to the West.
Yeah.
You know,
it was a good convo.
There was a time, DeAndre, and again, I love Cappy because it's just a different dynamic to the show. But there was a time when when before Cappy that we would talk the Eastern Conference fairly regularly, actually on the show. And I think that you have to. I'm a believer that you play and cater to your teammates' strengths. And Cappy's strength is shenanigans and an occasional hot take. You know what I mean? So he likes to be racked. You know what I mean? Cappy's also someone he's got to hone in on one thing. Like you can't give him too many things because then it's like he's all over the place.
Squirrel.
So So it's like Lakers. He's focused. He's in on the Lakers. Like let me tell you something. I don't always agree with his Lakers takes, but he's got real good ones. Like you know what I mean? Like Lakers. He's good. Anything beyond that. Like he we got to spoon feed him a little bit. You know what I mean? But once he's locked in, he's usually pretty locked in by the playoffs.
I mean, Raider Cap's going to be a great character.
Well, but
this season.
he loves football. That's a little different,
Yeah,
and it's only
yeah.
once a week. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to keep up with basketball.
Yeah, you got. I mean, thankfully for me, it's literally part of my job, so it's not hard to keep up with.
I'm
But-
just there
But I would
every
say,
day.
yes, somebody that doesn't have it as their job or obsession,
I'm
for
here.
sure, then it's hard to
And
like.
Funchy, yeah.
And because even Twitter has gotten smarter over
Oh,
the years,
no doubt.
in terms of basketball.
Well,
so you're going to get checked. if you
People
don't
will
know what you're
fact
talking
check you like right there,
Well,
like
and-
real time.
And what I always say is, I think the Los Angeles basketball fan is as smart as there is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if
Yeah,
you
no doubt. They've seen great basketball since like 1960 when the Lakers got here.
Now, look, there's always going to be the guy that will harken back to Showtime Lakers and try to make the comparison to 2025 basketball. There's always going to be a couple of those guys. It's not the same game, just if we're being honest. But I would say for the most part, it's like I always laugh when Cappy says, "Can you explain it to me for the majority of us who don't understand what you say?" And I actually push back. I'm like, I don't think it's the majority. I actually think the majority of basketball fans here, they get like a high, what we want to call highbrow basketball conversation because, to your point, they've seen a lot of great basketball over 4 decades,
Yeah.
or
there's
more.
no doubt. Yeah, it's like a birthright out here now.
Right.
Yeah. That plus, I think, just the interest level that the Lakers create year after year, even in the years that they were bad, they
Right.
were still interesting. So that I think just feeds into the whole dynamic overall, and so people are plugged in, man. They know their stuff.
They do.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's talk Dodgers here real quick. So, Linz, we got a little Dodgers report. What are we looking at? So they got the top 4 spots in the rotation pretty much locked up, right? So Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, who's going to when is he making his debut?
Tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow. And then he's going to come in relief?
Yep, he's going to pitch after Yamamoto.
I am genuinely curious to see this.
Yeah,
okay?
aren't we all?
So I remember last year when Yamamoto pitched for the first time in spring training, like I walked into Greg's office because I needed to tell him something about like a scheduling thing, and he's like, he literally threw his hand up in the air.
That's right. That's right. And
Threw
you were
his
like,
hand
what?
up at me. And he's like, wait, Yamamoto's pitching. And I'm like, bro, you're going to see him the whole rest of the season. Like, it's fine. Like, relax. And then, so now I can imagine, don't walk in there when Sasaki's pitching tomorrow. Like, he's going to give you the hand, is all I'm telling you.
You already know.
So, yeah, but I will watch that. I will want to watch that. If he's coming in. So I'm guessing, Yamamoto's probably going to pitch 2 or 3 innings?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So somewhere in the second or third inning, Sasaki will come in. So the 5th spot will be between Landon Knack, Clayton
Gonsolin.
Kershaw, Gonsolin, and maybe Dustin May. Is Dustin May going to be available?
He seems to think he's going to.
Okay,
I mean,
all
he's
right.
pitching really well.
I mean, I was just worried about the whole salad thing. Like, guy almost died.
That's true, but
He was choked on a salad, or his esophagus almost like cut in half.
Not
or
a
whatever.
fun story.
no, it's not.
Yeah. I mean, it's just an embarrassment of riches, though.
It really
That's not even including Shohei Ohtani.
I was going to say, yeah, that's
Right.
only like the 5th spot. Like,
Well,
that's
'cause they're
going to
gonna
go
pitch
away.
6 guys, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to go away eventually.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm trying to think of something that's interesting to say about the Dodgers.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I think
Other than
something's
like,
interesting.
oh, they're awesome. They have the best pitching staff and the best bats, and it's more just like, okay, who's going to rise to the top of the already cream of the crop?
Yeah.
They could probably field a second team.
They can, but here's the thing. Baseball is basically 2 different seasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the 162-game marathon, which the Dodgers have been great at forever, right? Particularly this iteration of the Dodgers.
Dave Roberts' whole tenure, yeah.
And then there's the sprint, when you have these short series that all it takes is one bad bounce, and all of a sudden you're in the hole. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the thing. Like, that's the beauty of baseball, is that it's almost 2 completely different seasons when you're talking about regular season versus postseason, and it drives fans absolutely insane because the Dodgers have actually had better teams from top to bottom than the one that won last year. I know some people may think that's crazy, but when you look at like roster spot 1 through 25, they've had better teams from 1 through 25.
You mean like when the Astros cheated?
Perhaps, right?
Yeah.
So,
possible.
But they didn't win. And that's just the unfortunate part of a short series, you know? So,
well, yeah, so the best team doesn't always win in baseball. The best team doesn't always win in soccer. The best team more often wins than not in basketball.
Yeah.
You know,
and football, you know what's funny about the NFL? Is the NFL loves to talk about, the NFL is also 2 different seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's always about like, oh, parity. And it is. In the regular season, anybody can win. The best part of Sundays is like 12:30 like on Sundays, you put on the Red Zone channel, and Scott Hansen's head is literally spinning around like on the television because there's like 8 games going on that are all like within a score, and everybody's going nuts.
Well, in fantasy football, it makes it about 80% more interesting.
No, but my point is there is parity in the NFL in the regular season, but in the postseason, not so much. You got a lot of repeat winners. Right? You got a lot of dynasties in the NFL for all the talk about parity. There's way less parity in baseball. And even recently, way less parity in the NBA.
In the parity conversation.
Oh, way more
too.
parity, I mean, sorry.
It's like that's just one of those things that we've heard in the sports discourse over the years, and so we just kind of assume that it's still true, but really it's not that different in the NFL to the other sports.
Dude, there's been it's the Chiefs. Right, recently, the Patriots before them.
The Ravens.
And then before them, the Steelers had a run, right? Like, they won a couple Super Bowls, even in between those Patriots ones. And then in the 90s, you had the Niners and the Cowboys. Right.
The Broncos at the end.
Right, the Broncos with John Elway. Right, like, so it's always, like, the same teams in the mix. And even in the playoffs, the wild card round of the NFL stunk. Like, it was bad. They weren't even close games.
Well, and there are several teams that have never won, just like in many of the Bills.
Right, the Browns.
As I know, the Bills, the Vikings, the Lions.
Yeah.
Right. So there's it's
so
kinda,
until one of them busts
the
through,
Chargers.
like the Cubs did, right, or whatever, like it's kind of the same thing.
By the way, when's the last time the Raiders won again?
2000.
No, the Super Bowl.
Oh, the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Well, they were in the Super Bowl in 2002-03 season.
They haven't won since like.
The 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Marcus Allen was like their starting running back.
What was the actual year?
Yeah. I want to say 83. Yeah.
83.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. 83. Yeah. They beat Washington.
I was 2 years old.
Right? They beat Washington?
Sounds right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time, Raider fan.
Yeah.
Sorry to break it to you.
So parity.
I told Alex downstairs I'd be nicer to the Raiders, but you guys brought it out of me. What do you want me to say?
I've got no problems with the Raiders. I'm just a beaten down
Raider
Vikings
Cappy
fan.
now. They have Cappy.
How legit is Raider Cappy?
I mean, Cappy is kind of a bandwagon jumper.
So what? But
so he's on the Raiders this year.
What's
previous years he had been on the Patriots. He had been on the Browns.
But what is he jumping
He
on?
has reasoning. He's jumping on Tom Brady.
It's usually because of his
Tom
buddy.
Brady?
Yeah.
Right.
But Tom
like
Brady's his guy.
So Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator in the NFL, was his college roommate. So that's why he was a Browns.
Oh, I get that. Because I root for whichever team Cliff Kingsbury is on.
Yeah.
Right? For some
So
reason,
he was a Browns fan one year because he was the OC there, and then he was a Patriots OC last year, so he was a Patriots guy. But this year he's just rooting because his boyfriend Tom Brady and Pete Carroll.
But you can have again,
and because he hates the Chargers.
To bring it back to the side piece conversation, me being a side piece on your radio show, I have some football side pieces, but like my wife is the Vikings.
Right.
Okay, so that I always
He's
root
got
for that
no
team
wife.
no matter what. That's
He
what I'm
doesn't.
saying.
His side piece is whoever's playing
He
the
likes.
Chargers.
I know, but he
he's
has no
he's
main
like,
attachment.
He's got like a harem when it comes to football.
Yep, he sure does.
But you have
That's
to
a good
have
way to put
a
it.
number one in any walk of life.
His number one is hating the Chargers.
Yep.
DeAndre,
Anyone who's playing the Chargers, that's his number one.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to eat? Like one thing. Give me one thing.
Oh man, I love a good slice of
Just
pizza.
one
I'm
thing.
about to say pizza. Yeah.
Okay,
Good slice of pizza.
That's your
For
number
sure.
one.
Yeah.
You can't just rotate it every other day.
Yeah. Pizza's
I mean,
bad
come
for
on.
you, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
so bad
Is
for
it
you.
really though? It's just bread, cheese, and sauce.
Right, but a good slice of pizza, like a New York slice of pizza, that's like 500 calories in one good slice.
I think I have probably.
That's like a
consumed-
quarter of your calories in the entire day.
I have consumed more pizza probably than any other thing in my life. I mean, burgers are right there. It's close.
Burgers
and that,
are good,
That
too.
in
I
Mountain
feel like
Dew.
pizza, we've probably all consumed more of that than anything.
That's
no?
the thing, and here we are all alive, George.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's a good
But
point.
for
I'm in
how
good
much
shape.
longer?
I'm in good shape. I just got to work out a lot.
I'm just saying. Right. But I literally spent I went 2 times to the gym yesterday.
Okay, hold on. So if pizza's, it's not. You're talking about pizza as if it's like it's just.
It's not
a set
good
of
for you.
cookies on top of each other.
No, it's not good for you.
that bad.
I mean, it's not cookies,
But what are
but-
you eating instead of pizza that's so much better?
But you can have like just proteins and like a salad.
But I've got some.
You have like a
protein on my
steak and
pizza.
salad.
It's called pepperoni.
Salad. Imagine having salad
let me
like
tell
for
you
the rest
something.
of your
Pepperoni is
life
protein.
every day.
Yeah, but it's like
It's protein.
It's also processed. It's not like
And then when you add the sausage on there and all that other stuff too.
It's all processed.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
in fairness to me, I usually don't add this. I get triple pepperoni. Sometimes I'll add a half of green
Triple?
olives.
You literally
pepperoni?
ordered
Yeah,
triple pepperoni?
Yeah, that's right, Lindsay.
Oh,
And-
my goodness.
Yeah, and
I've heard like double
I like
or
when the
extra.
pepperoni's like
Also-
a little
but
burnt.
triple
oh,
pepperoni?
no, but I charred. Chard is the best type of pepperoni.
There you go.
Do you put that on your order too? Do you request triple
100%.
pepperoni chard?
No, there's an option literally at Fresh Brothers, the place I usually go to, and it's you can select the chard on the pepperoni.
My goodness. Wow.
And then I also
We'll have to try this.
add a half a green olive sometimes, or half jalapenos if I want to spice it up a little bit. And so I also like heavy sauce and light cheese.
Me
if
too.
You really must
Well,
know.
you're not a cheese guy.
Sauce, yeah.
No, cheese isn't a very good thing. It's not a very tasty thing. Just doesn't taste that good.
I mean, I don't
my
know.
opinion.
How do you not like cheese if you like pizza?
Well, I tolerate it on pizza.
That's a pretty crazy
I've told the
statement.
story. Have you heard this? So he comes to my house one day, him and the kids and the wife, and we're hanging out by the pool. It's like a summer day, and we got wine going or whatever. And I bring out like a charcuterie plate, or whatever, with like cheese and fruit and like meats and things. And he's killing the meats. And I'm like, bro, try this
some
piece of
salami
cheese.
on there, some good salami.
I'm like, try this piece of cheese, and like it was like you could have. He like ate it like if I was. It was like a child, like you're like.
I didn't want to be rude, but I didn't want to eat it.
Like you're trying to poison them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just cheese, bro.
Well, it didn't taste good.
Yeah, it was delicious. Your wife had it.
Yeah,
she loved it.
I mean, well, most people like cheese. I'm not saying that I'm normal in this context, but yeah, I wasn't into it.
All right. So anyway, coming up next, Radio Tinder is coming up in just a moment. Stick around. Trudell's in the house. Even without his cheese-hating self, he will stick around
if
for
you're like me and you don't like cheese,
90 more minutes.
Then
I've never met anyone else that doesn't like cheese. I got to be honest with you.
I haven't met
you're
a ton
like
of people
you're
that-
like one of one.
That's why I'm asking.
You're the
if there
Michael
are-
Jordan of cheese haters.
I'm asking if there are. First of all, I'll be the Michael Jordan of anything. But if there are other cheese haters out there, I'd like to hear from you.
Feel free, tweet him.
Yeah.
But first, let me tell you about a man who is not a hater at all, and we love him to death. Jacob and Ronnie, because he's here to help you. You get into an accident, you call Jacob, 844-24-JACOB. Jacob and his team offer a free consultation, and that's why you got to call him at 844-24-JACOB. Tell him Sedano, Mason, and the crew at 710 send you. No risk in picking up the phone and telling what happened. Say, hey, Jacob, this is what happened. Somebody hit me. Bam. And he's like, all right, let me take care of it for you. Let me figure it out. And if Jacob takes your case, you can breathe a little easier because he pretty much handles everything at that point, all right? They'll help you find the doctor close to home who actually specializes in your type of injury. They'll also deal with the body shop, which is not easy always, and get you the rental car so you're not stuck handling that stressful stuff by yourself. Bottom line, Jacob and his team, they're ready to get you back on your feet and fight for you to get the compensation you deserve. So if you want to meet in person, no problem. Jacob and his team can come to you, or you can swing by the office. But call them at 844-24-JACOB. Tell them Sedano, Mason, and the crew at 710 send you. That's 844-24-JACOB. Visit them online at calljacob.com. Tell them Sedano, Mason, and the crew at 710 send you. And by the way, if you or your family lost your home, business, or property due to the wildfires, Jacob and Ronnie's here to help, man. Jacob is fighting for the fire victims across California, helping them rebuild after their devastating losses. So don't wait. Call Jacob today or visit him at calljacob.com to see how he can fight for you. And together, we are LA Strong.
Kings forward Kevin Fiala finished February with 7 goals in 8 games, good for second most in the National Hockey League. And Saturday in St. Louis, he kicked off March with a power play goal.
Fiala back for Doughty. He'll play it in deep for Kopitar. Base of the left circle to the near point. Kopitar to the right circle. One-timer. Score! Kevin Fiala let it go from the top of the right circle. The Kings have a power play goal, and they lead it 1-0 with 16:17 to play in period 1.
Tonight, the road trip concludes in Chicago as the Kings meet the Blackhawks for the second time this season. Don't miss the action. Listen live at 5:30 Pacific on 710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app.
Have you heard the refinancing rule of thumb that says you have to drop your rate at least 0.5% to refi because it'll take several years of savings to recoup the closing costs for a refi? Well, Loan Exchange says the rule is nonsense. With a Loan Exchange free closer, you can lower your rate without paying any cost whatsoever. That's right, lower your rate with no cost and your balance doesn't go up. You start saving on the first day you have the loan and every day thereafter. If you decide to move next year or rates drop further, you can exchange that loan for another without losing $1 that was tied up in closing costs. Today's 30-year fixed-free closer rate in APR is 5.99%. So if your current mortgage rate is higher than 5.99%, give the Loan Exchange a call at 855-752-9944 or log on to theloanexchange.com. It won't cost you a thing. NMLS 1637539. Loan subject to credit approval. See website for licensing information, loan terms and conditions. Equal housing lender. Call 855-752-9944 or visit theloanexchange.com.
The CONCACAF Nations League finals arrive at SoFi Stadium March 20th to 23rd. USA versus Panama, followed by Canada versus Mexico. Get your tickets now on Ticketmaster. For more information, visit CONCACAFNationsLeague.com/tickets.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text LION to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text LION to 42424. That's LION to 42424.
And it is Sedano and Kap. Around 5:30 p.m. in the Southland Radio Tinder time, we like to play a TV theme. You can follow her at Lindsay Baseball on Twitter or Instagram. Don't forget about our sponsor, Tequila Mandala. Always swipe right on Tequila Mandala. Take it away, producer Lindsay.
Oh, what do we got here? Is this, hold on. Matlock?
It is.
Yeah. I had to think for a second.
I would not have gotten that one, and Michael Thompson would have pretended like it was, how could you possibly not know?
Yeah, I remember Matlock when I was a kid. It was on NBC. So, yeah. Yeah, I do remember Matlock.
I don't.
Not me.
I'm Daria also came out on this day. That'd been a good one to play.
Yeah.
Remember Daria? Remember Steph dressed as Daria for Halloween one year.
I know Daria. I never watched it.
You've got like Daria vibes.
I know of Daria.
I get it.
You got Daria vibes.
That was a great show.
She seemed like a nice girl.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know about nice.
Matlock is back, but it's what's her name? Is the Kathy Bates?
Kathy Bates, yeah.
Is Matlock?
She's like Matlock.
Is Matlock's daughter or something?
Some relation.
Yeah.
Let me guess. Matlock is a lawyer.
Yes. So the original TV series on NBC was 1986. Yeah. Yeah. I remember.
Sweet.
I wonder how that show's doing. Does not seem appealing to me.
It's probably on some streaming service, I presume,
it's on
right?
Peacock, I believe.
Yeah. 9 seasons on NBC. Wow. That was a long time. Yeah.
You know what? I just started watching Running Point.
Andy Griffith was the lead on that show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Andy Griffith was an American TV star for like 40 years.
Very versatile.
Yeah. So, I mean, it literally had the Andy Griffith show at one point. That's where Ron Howard became a star as a little child actor.
Well, I got back from the game at about, I don't know, like 11:30 last night, and wife was sleeping, had some food.
You watched some Matlock?
No, I watched Running Point on Netflix. Genie
I
Bus
tried watching it. It was not good.
I disagreed.
Did you watch Court of Gold?
I really enjoyed it. I watched 3 episodes.
You're a great
and I'm
company
still
man.
No, I'm not like
I thought it was terrible.
I wouldn't have brought
it
up.
I couldn't even like make it through the whole episode. I thought it was that bad.
Good
Lindsay
and
watches
funny.
anything, man.
It's good and funny, and I stand by that. I have great TV taste. I will give you a top 5 list if you need later. It is good and funny.
Yeah. Have you watched Court of Gold?
Yes, I'm watching it with the boys. We've made. I think we're on episode 4.
Yeah, I've seen
I
it all.
thoroughly
It's very
enjoyed
good.
that.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
And you know what I started watching? Because when I was on Court of Gold, I just started watching other stuff. I went back and started watching Breakpoint, which is the tennis version of that like F1
That was
show.
good.
Yeah, so I've seen
All those are really good.
Yeah, those are good shows. Like I watched the first episode of season 1. There's only 2 seasons.
Yeah,
and it's like it starts with the tennis season, right? So it starts in the Australian Open, like in January. It's really
It's almost like the less you know, the better it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
like
gotta
who's
get
the
behind
guy
the
where he's like, I want to be that mother bleeper.
Nick Kyrgios?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Australian
he's
guy.
great.
No, I mean, I know tennis, so that's why I want, but I'm, I just have never had time to watch it, so now I'm sneaking like an episode in every once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah. But Netflix does. They have the good shows. They have the F1 one, which I didn't watch. That one I would watch because I don't know anything about F1.
That one made me like F1. Made me like want to like get into F1.
You know, it did, and then nobody actually got that much more into F1. though.
But no, they did. The ratings on ESPN went up more.
They went up, but then I'm saying, but it didn't sustain. Because like I too, I watched this. I was like, oh, this is great. And then I watched one race, and I was like, oh, nothing happens. They just go around in a circle, and then maybe there's one pass, and whoever qualifies first wins. It's just not that compelling for me.
So Joseph Oliveira has tweeted in and says,
Not a Chiefs fan, hopefully.
He's not a Chiefs fan.
My man.
Yeah.
You and me.
There you go. So, there you have it. You got another cheese. He says he likes it on burgers, nachos, and pizza, and that's it.
Did you know that like more than 60% of Americans are actually lactose intolerant?
Oh, yeah, that I do know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably like the taste of it. They just don't like what it does to them after. But I go no cheese on the burger. And
Anthony came in here and said that he admitted. He came in, he's like, Trudell, I got to be honest, I'm like you.
I've always liked
There's
Anthony.
more of you out there.
I've always liked Anthony.
All right, go ahead, Linz. We haven't started Radio Tinder, and we're supposed to be ending it by now.
Sorry,
I'll do one really quick here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is crazy, fascinating, interesting.
You really are like Cappy in a lot of ways.
So
Maybe that's why you're the side piece.
I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to bring some of the Cappy energy from this chair. Anyway, Lindsay.
So it's been about a month since the Mavs traded Luka Doncic, shockingly, to the Lakers. And guess what? The team did today. They notified their season ticket holders that their price for renewals is going up for next season.
Shocker.
They said, quote, the Dallas Mavericks are fully dedicated to delivering the best live game experience in the NBA.
The Mavericks are raising their ticket prices.
Yes.
Oh, they said the Lakers.
No, that's why I was like, let me finish it. It
Oh.
says, as a part of that commitment, ticket pricing adjustments for the 2025-26 season will reflect ongoing investments in team and fan engagement. So somebody from Mavs Muse tweeted, 30 days ago, the Mavs traded away their homegrown superstar, called him fat, and laughed in the fans' faces about it. Today, they decided to almost double the price of my season tickets from the past couple years. And then he called the new ownership disgustingly out of touch. Yeah, they said
It's a pretty bad move, I
on
would say.
average, like 10%. But if you're higher priced tickets, they said they're basing it like on secondary market prices too. How are you going
that's
to?
not good.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, it's weird because remember they were telling people they would give back their season tickets or whatever.
And now they're like, oh wait, we gave too many back, so now they're going to be really expensive.
Yeah.
How? Okay, so I was going to ask you guys, in what world does this make any sense?
It doesn't. Swipe left.
Like, isn't it insane?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of something. How wouldn't I? No, I think
You
I'm,
thought
I'm
that
with
it's
you
like they're
both.
trying to evoke the emotion in people. You thought things were bad before, like them people, protesting and ripping the team. Can you imagine? Like, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, it is going to get worse. I don't understand the logic behind that, but I didn't understand the logic behind the trade either, for that matter. So there you go.
The only thing I can point to is that I think like if and when they get Anthony Davis back, they do have a chance to go on a little run, and that's the first and only thing they can think about of trying to win back some of that support is to play well.
Right, but you should probably wait for that to happen before you try to raise ticket prices.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And so who
It's
knows
horrible
how
timing.
Who knows how this came out? Like I assume the team didn't just voluntarily throw that out there.
No, they released it to their season ticket holders because it was probably time to renew.
Yeah.
Right. So there you go. So I guess they had to in that context. But yeah, that's tough. That's tough timing, Lindsay. There's no argument.
That's terrible timing.
All right, coming up next, not the Lakers, the Niners traded Deebo Samuel. Like, I was like, wait, what? He went where? I mean, I know he wanted out, but only a fifth rounder? Like, what is going on here? So let's get into that a little bit. But first, ESPN LA, the Lakers, and BB Guard teaming up to find the Lakers Gafote, greatest fan of all time. Are you the Gafote? You can win the ultimate fan prize pack if you are, which includes courtside seats and a year's supply of BB Go. Go to this website, LakersGafote.com. That's LakersGafote.com to learn how to submit your entry.
The Lakers are on fire. Back-to-back wins over the Clippers. And the winning streak keeps on rolling.
And the Lakers win again.
Will the Lakers keep their streak alive when the Pelicans come to town tomorrow night?
They're sixth in a row.
Lakers versus Pelicans. Pre-game coverage starts tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on the home of LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers.
And they just keep rolling.
710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Mace. Looking for some fun? Dive into Chumba Casino, your
I'm Doug
ultimate
Hopkins. And I'm Damon Lyons, and we want to buy your house.
If you're considering selling your home for any reason, let Seller's Advantage show you a better way to sell your home.
With no agent fees, no commissions, no hassles, and no repairs.
Just a fair cash offer that can close in just a few days. We don't just promise more, we deliver a much better customer experience.
Check out our Google reviews and see how.
Call Seller's Advantage or visit sellersadvantage.com for free, no obligation cash offer.
Don't worry, sell happy with
Kings forward Kevin Fiala finished February with 7 goals in 8 games, good for second most in the National Hockey League. And Saturday in St. Louis, he kicked off March with a power play goal.
Fiala back for Doughty. He'll play it in deep for Kopitar. Base of the left circle to the near point Kopitar. To the right circle. One-timer. Score! Kevin Fiala let it go from the top of the right circle. The Kings have a power play goal, and they lead it 1-0 with 16:17 to play in period one.
Tonight, the road trip concludes in Chicago as the Kings meet the Blackhawks for the second time this season. Don't miss the action. Listen live at 5:30 Pacific on 710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app.
Week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up, it's golf.
Sedano and Kap for your afternoon drive.
Take a look at me. I feel like your fat is less visceral.
Oh, really?
The LA afternoon takeover rolls on right now.
Microphone checker, swinging sword lecture, closing down the sector, supreme neck protector.
Let's go. This is right up your alley, Trudeau.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a point at which I can get fired up to the degree that, like, you're fired up to have me in today, and this is doing it. So I don't know what I'm going to say this segment.
Let's go.
It was Method Man's birthday yesterday.
It was? Look at that. How old was Method Man?
54.
54. He's younger than Cappy.
I don't feel like Method Man. I don't feel like Method Man gets his proper due.
He does not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he had the ridiculous Wu-Tang run.
Right.
He had the ridiculous solo run.
Yeah.
Then he had the Method Man Redman run.
Right.
Which is like some of my favorite Method Man.
Right.
With the way that he vibed back and forth with Redman. So yeah, and he's a great actor. He's just sort of cool to just see it around. There's nothing about Method Man that I don't like.
This is where Cappy would say, Method Man, I know Marlboro Man.
Oh, man. Still kind of want. I would love to sit down with RZA one time and just be like,
didn't they sell like some hidden tracks or something for like $1 bazillion or something?
Well, they made the an actual album,
right?
Like the record, and then they then they
and it sold like at an auction for some ridiculous price.
It was that really crazy rich guy that like is one of the top 10 wealthiest people in the world.
Yeah. So I mean, and RZA as the mastermind, I just want to be like, when's the first time that you saw? Or that you heard Method Man, and like just the whole each, and you can do that with each guy. Like, hey, when did you first meet Ghostface? And you kind of brought it all together.
You know what? I think they need to do. You know what I used to love? Speaking of old TV, so VH1 used to do this thing, and we've talked about this briefly in the past. They used to have a show called Behind the Music. And it was like, they were like these little mini documentaries for an hour. You know what I'm saying?
And they did do a Wu-Tang doc, and it's been a few years now since I saw it. So they definitely they tell the story of how RZA brought them all together. But
not that long ago.
And then there was like a show, and was it on was it FX maybe? There was like a Wu-Tang show. So it's definitely been building, but I just wanted a little bit more specifically on Method Man. That's all. Anyway, thank you, DeAndre, for that.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Defiant Ones on HBO?
Yes.
That's a great documentary.
Yeah.
4-part documentary about the history of music, basically. But it's
good.
really well done.
Yeah,
if you've never seen it, you should watch. Lindsay, I'm sure you've seen. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. DeAndre, no. You got Max?
I do got Max. Yes.
The Defiant Ones.
Okay.
It's 4 parts. It's basically it's through the prism of Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine.
Okay.
But it really goes back. You
learn a lot.
How basically those two have in some way, shape, or form are like, a few degrees separated from all these different artists because of Jimmy Iovine's production background and obviously Dr. Dre with his hip-hop background, and how all this stuff ties in basically to each other because of those two guys and kind of how their legacies and their histories have spawned off. It's really, really well done. Like literally almost every major musical artist of the last 50 years is in that documentary in some way, shape, or form.
Gotta check it out.
Really well done. All right, so Deebo Samuel traded for a 5th round pick. Like, I get he wanted out, and I know he's been dinged up, but I was kind of shocked that's all the Niners got.
I guess, but like NFL trades, it does seem to sort of go like this, especially with vets who have a pretty big contract.
Right, you sell low, I guess.
So, well, just to the degree that you can then use that money to get free agents, which is obviously much more easy to get in the NFL relative to the NBA, and then a 5th round pick. Usually like that, to get a 5th round pick, somebody that can come in and you can get a good enough player. Like you can get a starting safety a lot of times in like the 5th round.
Right, but
you know what I mean?
But like this is a perfect example. Payman just tweeted in. He says, "Can you guys talk about the Commanders trading a 5th round pick for Debo? And then if you recall, the Cowboys who during the season traded a 3rd round pick for Jonathan Mingo to the Carolina Panthers. How dumb are the Cowboys?" Well,
Yeah.
I mean, but that's kind of my point.
That question answers itself, but
right,
like,
yes, but Jonathan Mingo, who is like an average at best wide receiver, goes for a 3rd round pick, and Debo Samuel, who when he's right is one of the I think one of the most impressive weapons potentially in the sport of football.
But so I would just if Debo Samuel were worth more than that, then they would have gotten more than that, because I'm sure they had offered him around. But I do like it from a Commander's standpoint because everything obviously went pretty well for them last year.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels looks awesome. Terry McLaurin has this great season, and now you give Cliff Kingsbury another tool. You give Jaden Daniels somebody who he just makes your offense more versatile. And so you still got the deep threat with McLaurin, and now you can bring Debo underneath. Like I get it. I like it. It's fun for them.
For the Commanders is great.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that about the whole Jonathan Mingo situation. Michael Parsons chimed in because someone did tweet like the Dallas Cowboys gave up a 4th round pick for Jonathan Mingo. Michael Parsons tweeted out and said Washington picked up almost $22 million on Debo's contract this year. He said this legit doesn't correlate at all.
Well, that's kind of the point that I was trying to get to, right? Is that the salary level in this would be where we can make the NBA equivalent. Like if Kevin Durant is likely going to get moved this summer,
right? He makes like $50 million,
and because he makes $50 million, they're not going to get that much back for him because there's only a couple of teams that can even absorb it, and they have to match his salary going back. So NFL's a little different with it. You don't have to do the matching part exactly, but like it decreases. That's why he's not worth a 1st or a 2nd. It's because the money they're going to have to pay him.
I'm not saying that. I get that part of it, but I still thought a 5th was low. Like I thought at least a 3rd. You know what I mean? Because you're taking the salary, but a 3rd round pick. And 3rd round picks hit at a much higher rate than they used to, but it's still only like maybe 25%.
Okay, so thinking, and I'll selfishly bring this back to the Vikings. So when the Vikings had Stephon Diggs, they traded him for a 1st round pick,
right?
And then they got Justin Jefferson,
right?
And so you would argue now Diggs at that time was probably a little bit of a higher level than Debo. Like he's an injury risk, but he's closer to that. So that kind of supports your point, George, a little bit better. Like teams to give up that high of a value. I was a little surprised that Buffalo was willing to give up was it a 1st or a 2nd? I think it was a 1st.
Yeah. I am genuinely curious to see what happens. I haven't been this interested in the NFL draft in a while, and only because I feel like for the last, however long it's been, I can go back and look, I guess. I feel like we've always known kind of by this time who the number 1 pick is. Right? It feels like for a long time we've just kind of known who the number 1 guy is. Like last year, we kind of had a pretty good idea it was going to be Caleb, right? And then before that, Bryce Young was a weak quarterback draft, so everyone just kind of assumed it would be him. Alabama, right? He had the pedigree. I guess Trayvon,
either him or Stroud. Yeah.
Well, the Jaguars they took Trayvon Walker. So I guess that was one, right? But Trevor Lawrence before that, Burrow, he was. I think by the end we knew it was going to be Burrow. Like, I think early on, it was kind of like, oh, who's it going to be? But by the time March rolled around, we had a pretty good idea it was going to be him. Same thing with Kyler, Mayfield, Miles.
That people didn't know that one. I feel like that's the last
Baker?
time. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I remember being there, like, when the pick happened, and they were talking about possibly trading down.
No. Baker Mayfield was, I thought, because it was either him, Sam
or
Darnold,
Trubisky.
and Josh.
Mitch Trubisky was, like, another one.
I felt like everyone kind of felt Baker was going to be the guy.
No, I don't think it was
so.
the other way.
I mean, it wasn't going to be Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen.
A lot more people thought it was going to be Trubisky. That was the thing.
I thought by the time the draft went around, and my memory is in accordance with Lindsay here, I thought it was more of a surprise. I thought he was like going to be the 3rd or 4th guy. And now part of that was because the interviews that he did, and he's got all this, like his personality apparently rubbed a couple of rooms the wrong way. And I think in hindsight that they've sort of been proven wrong there, as his personality seems to actually be a real asset with his teammates. But I felt like the fact that Josh Rosen and his
Sam Darnold went 3rd.
Yeah.
Right.
But like the mocks at the time though, I feel like had Baker down further. But I don't know.
I just think
we
it's
could be
crazy
wrong,
how
Maybe
like
George is right.
No, I remember exactly where I was sitting and exactly what I was doing when they, it was draft night. It's our Super Bowl. We're the Browns. We stink. Anytime we have a first, a number 1 overall pick, it was a big deal. But I mean, I was going to ask you guys, like with everything that happened with the combine, obviously.
You know what? You're right. I'm looking at the 2018 story here. You are right. It says here, who wrote this story? It's on ESPN.com.
No, the Cleveland Browns surprised the NFL
Surprised
world
the
by
NFL world. You're
Pat
right.
McMahon.
Okay, so Baker's probably who did they think were? Was it Saquon?
Sam Darnold and Josh Allen were the two.
And Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
No, Trubisky wasn't that year.
Yeah, I don't think Trubisky
was.
No. Most speculation
Trubisky
centered
was
on
not
US,
that year.
Here, this is from the same article,
Yeah.
and this is by Pat McMahon. The Browns have been expected to take a quarterback and had insisted Mayfield was under consideration through the pre-draft process. Most speculation still centered on USC's Sam Darnold and Wyoming's Josh Allen, but momentum for the Browns favoring Mayfield started to build in the last few days.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So my point
and then
is,
they took Denzel Ward a couple picks later.
Right. So what I would say is this.
You're right. Trubisky was the year before with Miles.
Most years, though, we have. If you go back, I mean, I'm going back now a long time, right? Like, I'm just going back now the last 15 drafts. There's probably 3 or 4 out of the 15 where by now we didn't know who the number 1 pick was. So Mayfield would be one. Trayvon Walker for the Jags would be the other. Clowney we knew.
Myles Garrett.
Eric Fisher was a tackle, so maybe not. Andrew Luck for sure, everybody knew. Cam Newton, everyone for sure. Sam Bradford, everyone knew. Quarterbacks usually. Matthew Stafford, everyone knew. So, right, there's like less than a handful in 15 years that we didn't know. This is one of those years. Even though there's going to be a quarterback probably, well, maybe not. It could be Travis Hunter. But I think that's the thing. It's very rare that there's intrigue at the top of the draft. And I think this year's one of those years. So I'm genuinely curious. Is it going to be Travis Hunter? Are the Giants going to trade up and take Travis Hunter because they want to take him at number 3 and they feel like maybe Tennessee will take him because it seems like Tennessee's downplaying the quarterbacks. Or is it going to be Cam Ward? Or is it going to be Shador? Like, who the hell's going number 1? Like, there is general intrigue.
Abdul Carter?
Right, Abdul Carter for
but
Penn State.
Yeah. Everyone was saying, like, oh, he's going to be number 1, and then there was, like, that foot thing that came out. I saw people after the weekend saying that Jackson Dart, like, he had such a great combine throwing day that, like, he's going to be drafted ahead of Shador. Like, that's it's just changed so much in the past, like, 5 days.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You just don't get a lot of intrigue this time of year. Usually we're pretty cemented more times than not at who the hell is going to be the guy at the top, which makes it boring, I think, personally. But now that there's intrigue, I'm in. All right, coming up next, let's get back to the Lakers. We have 30 minutes nonstop, commercial-free. It is a Michelob Ultra Reaction Monday. The Lakers beat the Clippers for their 6th straight victory yesterday, and we're talking about it all day long. Thanks to Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. So let's get back to the Lakers, where they are in the West, how they stack up with the rest of the NBA. That's coming up next.
The official partner.
Kings forward Kevin Fiala finished February with 7 goals in 8 games, good for second most in the National Hockey League. And Saturday in St. Louis, he kicked off March with a power play goal.
Fiala back for Doughty. He'll play it in deep for Kopitar. Base of the left circle to the near point Kopitar. To the right circle. One-timer. Score! Kevin Fiala let it go from the top of the right circle. The Kings have a power play goal, and they lead it 1-0 with 16:17 to play in period 1.
Tonight, the road trip concludes in Chicago as the Kings meet the Blackhawks for the 2nd time this season. Don't miss the action. Listen live at 5:30 Pacific on 710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app.
I showed up at the hospital and was told I couldn't see my children. Then I showed up in court and was told they may not be mine. Then I was accused of anything and everything. Sexual assault, domestic violence, substance abuse, you name it, I heard it. I was forced to go long periods of time without seeing my children. That experience of being wrongfully treated ignited something in me. I can look at a father and honestly tell him, I know how he is feeling. I've been there. At Real Fathers Rights, we care about your family, your livelihood, and your future.
The place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
710 ESPN, your home for the 17-time world champion Lakers.
KSPN Los Angeles, a good karma brands radio station. This is the city, Los Angeles, California. It's 5 p.m. in the Southland.
Turn it up, man.
Time to blow that 5 o'clock whistle with Sedano and Cappy.
That's right, it's the 5 o'clock hour on Sedano and Cap. And it's time for 30 minutes non-stop.
Sedano and Cap on 710 ESPN.
With fun and frivolity, tomfoolery and hijinks, and Cappy doing his thing. Thanks to our friends at Real Father's Rights. Real Father's Rights, the Father's Rights Attorney.
Visit RFR710.com or call 833-ESPN 710.
Let's do it, 5 o'clock in the Southland.
30 minutes of non-stop Sedano and Cap starts now.
You ready for this? And time for the Real Father's Rights 5 o'clock hour on 710 ESPN. Let's do it, Jack!
Beep-ba-da-bop. Do-ba-da-boop. Beep-ba-da-bop. You doing falsetto? Ba-da-bop. Beep-ba-boom. There it is, a little falsetto.
I kind of like that.
Hey, we're taking you commercial free till 5:30 as we will turn it over to LA Kings hockey as they're taking on the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. Chicago Blackhawks, Connor Bedard. What do you know about Connor Bedard? Anything? He's really good.
Yeah, I mean, hockey, it sort of makes me sad.
I wish I could watch more of it.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I just don't have the time with basketball.
Obviously, I grew up in Minnesota,
Yeah.
and it's a
I mean,
birthright.
yeah.
I can skate. And
Really?
Well, yeah, you have to.
I mean, yeah, I guess for sure. Yeah, it makes
it's
sense.
like, what do you have to do when you're growing up in Miami? There's something you have to
Right.
do.
You play baseball, you play volleyball, right? Tennis, all those things.
So it's like a birthright there, and I used to be a big fan, North Stars fan. So they got yanked to Texas.
I know.
That was
I remember
blow.
the Dallas Stars. Yeah.
And then I started working in the NBA, and
Right.
I'm like, I literally had to stop watching hockey. It's the one thing that I had to cut out. So I know Sidney.
There's only so much bandwidth.
It's rough. So I feel sad because I miss the sport. I love watching. I love being there in person.
You watch during the playoffs at all?
I do. So once in a while, but
Right.
it's like it's
same
still
time.
the NBA is going on.
Yeah, on off days though.
Yeah. No, so I feel I'm not going to pretend.
Now,
like
are you
I'm
like
an
a
expert.
Minnesota Wild guy? Like if they're in the playoffs, are you in on the Wild?
That's the problem. It's like the North
They're
Stars
not your
were the
team.
team of my but like if they're playing somebody, I'll root for them.
So you were
over
like
someone
very
else.
jealous when Mike Modano and the Dallas Stars were playing well back then.
I have an authentic Mike Modano jersey.
Yeah.
Now I didn't buy it because I couldn't afford it in college, but one of the rich kids in the fraternity had one, and he gave it to me.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matt Breen.
Because when I think
guy.
like for me, like my hockey knowledge kind of stops in the in like the 90s, basically. Like my in-depth hockey knowledge. Like if we're talking 90s hockey, like I'm in,
Well,
dude.
NHL 92, 93,
94
94
was the
96.
game. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single one of them was good.
Yeah.
And I was excellent at those games. I haven't played since the Super Nintendo version of 99.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last time.
But yeah, so like 90s hockey, I'm in. And like now I try to keep up. Like obviously I know who's good. Like Connor Bedard is going to be the next star, even though the Blackhawks stink. He's going to be the guy. The Oilers are awesome again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we know
like,
Connor McDavid. We know
Connor
Sidney
McDavid,
Crosby.
Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah,
Like I know the good
we know
guys.
Ovechkin.
Austin Matthews, Toronto. Like I know who's good.
Yeah.
But it's like I got no time.
No, it sucks. It sucks to have to have cut it out.
And
but,
I love the Kings too. Like I was listening to it on the radio the other day, and it's just like I wish I had more time to devote to it.
The other problem for us is I would love to go to like a game.
Oh man, so much fun to go.
But whenever we're here in Los Angeles, that means the Lakers are playing.
Right.
And so the Kings schedule is often like when we're on the road.
Correct.
That's when they're playing their home games.
Yeah.
So it's just that once in a while there's a crossover, and then I'm like, I would basically have to be in the building
early
5 nights a week.
Yeah.
If I'm going to catch one game.
If you play early, you'd have to stay late, right, for their game or something like that.
It's tough. Yeah.
I mean, but we love the Kings. It's been a fun. They've been pretty damn good. Like they're right in the mix, So I'm excited for them. I will try to watch once the postseason starts. I mean,
yeah, playoff hockey is great.
I can watch on off days. Like it's fairly easy. Like I can at least sneak it in. You know what I mean? Like so, I'm hopeful that I can get a little more leading up to the playoffs because I don't want to. It's like
I gotta ask my mom if she has my skates still at her house.
So you and I talked about this earlier. This is the time of year I get to sneak in a little college hoops because I don't want to go into the tournament completely blind. You know what I mean? Like I want to at least watch a little bit so I can at least say, well, I've seen this kid. And usually I'll watch even before. Like I've watched this kid, Cooper Flagg, for Duke a couple of times.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be the number one pick in the draft, right? So I want to see who he is.
Yeah, the unquestioned number one pick.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've watched him. I've watched Duke now several times. But this weekend, like I was in, where the hell was I? Phoenix, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I got a game. It's not, I don't know, it's 7:30, so I got plenty of time. So I got ESPN on and I'm watching stuff and I'm getting ready and I'm kind of watching college hoops. So like I'm trying to like cram before the tournament. So I feel like I got to do the same thing for hockey. I'm gonna at least try to cram before their playoffs start.
Yeah, when I was doing the show daily right here with Michael, I was doing much more of that. Now, when I'm kind of floating in to join you and Cappy,
right.
You know, I don't have to be quite as locked in.
No, you don't.
If I had to lead like you, then I would just force myself to do some of that cramming. But it has not happened yet, and so I haven't watched any college basketball yet. But I have watched almost every NBA game, so that's what I can bring for you.
No, for sure, and we'll do that right now. All right, so let's say the Lakers and OKC play conference finals. Give me the reasons you think the Lakers could win that series. And then on the flip side, I want to ask you, what are the things that the Thunder do well that you think could be challenging for the Lakers? But let's start with, give me the reasons the Lakers could beat OKC if they faced off against them in the conference finals. By the way, OKC, largest point differential in the history of the sport to this point in the season. They are legitimately a very good team and only an average age of 24.8 years old.
Well, first of all, we have very little actually to no evidence from this season about this matchup. Okay, so like the Lakers,
right? They're going to play a bunch of games late in the year.
Well, they play back-to-back in OKC in April,
right?
But OKC will have long locked up the number one seed,
right? So maybe you're not going to get there.
We don't know. We don't know if they'll play anybody,
Right.
and that could, by the way, that could benefit the Lakers if they're trying to get somewhere between the second, third, fourth spot or whatever.
Right.
But so in that game, Chet was hurt, right? But like the rest of their lineup was all there. So it was Shea and Hartenstein and Williams and Dort and Wallace started. For the Lakers, it was AD, LeBron, Rui, Austin Reeves, and then Dalton was actually starting at the time. And it was a pretty close game. OKC ended up pulling away late, and they win 101-93. Now, the Lakers are obviously a completely different team. And then OKC adds Chet, and they add Caruso, who didn't play in that game. And the way that I see the matchup, OKC is built to be an absolute ridiculous regular season machine because they are super deep. All 12 guys that either they play or can play are good defensive players for the most part. Shea is an absolute number one scoring engine that he can get his own shot, and if you bring help, he can kick it to somebody else. So like they're built to be almost bulletproof in winning regular season games. That's why the point differential is that high too, because when they bring in their second or third unit, those guys are going too. Right. That's usually the difference in point differential. So what I look at more closely is like how do their starters compare to other starters, and it's still really good, but it's not quite as all time, as we're going to say with what OKC's record is overall. Here's the reason why I think the Lakers though have a very interesting matchup, and probably are the team that OKC would least wants to see. OKC gets after teams with ball pressure. They are fiendish after the basketball, and there are two players in the NBA that are basically impervious to ball pressure: LeBron James and Luka Doncic.
Right.
So you can do that all you want. You want to ball pressure Luka or LeBron? They'll just back you off with their butt, push you down into the paint, or they will force you to bring a double team and then get the other team in rotation. So like I just that's the place you start, George. LeBron and Luka are two guys that I think know how to play against that kind of aggressive blitzing, show and recover type of scheme that OKC has. Then on the other end, I think the encouraging part with what we've seen, maybe I'll give you the Nuggets game as the best example. What did the Lakers do against Nikola Jokic? The kind of attention that they paid to him, sending the quick doubles, fronting, recovering.
I mean, there were three guys surrounding him at all times.
So I think you do that same thing to Shea, even though it's a little harder because you have to do
more slithery.
Because you have to do it
and extend it way further.
But you can get the ball out of his hands, and then who is initiating the offense that's going to really scare you over the course of a playoff series? Is J-Dub ready for that? Is Chet Holmgren ready for that?
I mean, last year he was not ready. against Dallas.
And that was kind of the thing. So, like, that's where OKC, as amazing as they've been in the regular season, they have to show that level of, like, okay, if a team really zeroes in that much more on Shea. So I just think that they don't have the rim protection, of course, and that's where you worry some. And if you're blitzing and recovering and switching as much as the Lakers
if they do break that press, then all of a sudden, But
that's I think why you like what JJ Redick is installing here in being able to switch. And if you've got LeBron, Luka, Dorian Finney-Smith, Rui Hachimura, and whether it's Austin or you bring in a Vanderbilt, then you can switch everything. And you're making them basically beat you over the top. Right. And they don't have great personnel to beat you over the top.
Although since January 1st, they are the best 3-point shooting team in the league.
Yes, this is where, again, I kind of go between, like, regular season and a postseason
I got
series.
you. Different set of
situations. The guys that are taking those shots are Lou Dort, who's, he's increased his percentage, but you're not, like, he's not a laser, right? No. Chet Holmgren, who just doesn't want to take a high volume of
By the way,
threes.
does everyone know that JJ calls your 5-man lineup the laser lineup? Does everyone know that? Is that like a public thing? Or did I just make that public?
Well, JJ in general.
Well, I mean, we used it on the broadcast because that's what he called it. So I didn't know how.
No, but JJ calls all of the best shooters he calls lasers, and all of the worst shooters
but he calls that lineup with Rui and
Rui, Finney-Smith, LeBron, Reeves,
the laser
Luka.
lineup.
Yeah, because they're 5 lasers essentially.
What does he call the guys who can't shoot?
Ducks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I and look, here's the one thing I will give. Another thing I will give JJ a lot of credit for. You guys have done a great job of protecting the paint recently, okay? Basically since you've been, this stretch since January 15th or whatever. And, there is this misnomer that the Lakers have gotten lucky because they've given up the 4th most threes in that same span, that shots aren't falling. But what I would say is, if you watch the games, and this is why I tell people, yes, the numbers matter, but you have to watch the games too. Like, they have to go hand in hand.
Or just listen to me and George because we're watching the games, and then we'll tell you.
Look at the guys that are taking the shots. It's rarely the lasers. It's more the Ducks.
So there's a prominent...
Against the Lakers. So when they're giving up all these shots, they're not giving up corner threes to Steph Curry.
So George is exactly right. And there's a prominent ESPN podcast, and so I won't say the name because we don't want friendly fire here, but somebody
I'll say it, the Hoop Collective.
Okay, so it was Bontemps. Make it.
Yeah.
The point he was trying to make was, it's shooting luck, and the Lakers they're getting lucky because they're letting everybody shoot threes. And it's like, no, they are letting the Ducks shoot threes,
right?
And they are getting the ball out of the hands of the actual best shooters. So, in an example of OKC, right? What would that be? Now, OKC doesn't necessarily have a quote-unquote laser in the starting lineup.
But they all shoot pretty well.
But like, if Isaiah Joe is in the game, okay, he's their best shooter off the bench.
Yeah.
He is not. You're not letting Isaiah Joe take a bunch of threes.
Right.
But if the ball gets swung over to Dort or Cason Wallace, right,
you'll take your chances.
Then it's like, and you're not letting him shoot. You're
and by the way,
out late.
If they beat you, you tip your cap to them.
Yeah, you're closing out late, but you're basically playing the percentage game. And this is but this is why it works. Because they have the athleticism and the toughness and the discipline defensively now to execute this. Like early in the season, George, D'Angelo Russell and Dalton Connect were in the primary rotation, and they were trying to basically play a scheme like that is very difficult.
You know who's shooting a pretty good amount of threes, too, as well? Like, much more volume than he had previous years. Is Aaron Wiggins, and he's shooting the ball pretty well. He's like nearly 40%.
Yeah, Wiggins is a good player. I like him. He's part of what I mentioned why they have a net rating of plus 13.
Right,
because they bring in like Wiggins and Joe and
Joe. Those guys
Kenrich
can play
Williams.
well. Yeah,
they can all hoop, right?
Yeah.
And then Caruso, like they've got a lot of good players.
Right,
but like that's kind of the idea is that when you're scheming, and this is also why, by the way, it's tough to play against a team like Boston,
right?
Because there are not a lot of guys out there that you can leave to sort of let
they
shoot
all
that
can
shot.
shoot the ball.
But Boston doesn't give you the same problems of getting to the rim,
right?
So then you don't have to play that same kind of scheme,
right?
So like, and I think the ultimate point I would make, George, like JJ Redick knows all this stuff.
Yeah,
he's making the right decisions. He's using the right players.
Yeah.
And now that Rob Pelinka made a couple of great trades, like so, I think everybody gets the Luka trade. Like we all get that was a great trade.
Right, but the Finney-Smith trade, at the time, you and I talked about it, and I said, this is going to be awesome. He fits perfectly with what they want to do.
And so that, and so like D'Angelo Russell was actually, as George knows, I've said this all the time, he was better than people thought for the Lakers, but not as good of a fit as Finney-Smith.
Right.
And Finney-Smith enables your roster to be bigger, stronger, tougher. And then you get Vanderbilt back.
Right.
And then Gabe Vincent actually gets some games under him.
Listen, Gabe has played really good. What he did to Kawhi. So he's
a good player.
He had
just was
three
hurt
really impactful plays in this last game where, like, his defense on drives was fantastic. He made Kawhi travel on the perimeter. Like, he did a really good. Like, Kawhi's got him by what? 35 pounds and probably at least 4 inches.
Yeah, like 4
You know what I
inches,
mean?
yeah.
Like he did a really good job on Kawhi.
And he hit, what was it, 3 threes?
Right.
Vincent?
3
for
this
6
is
from
the
3.
Gabe Vincent you thought you were getting when you got
yes.
it. Yes.
And so last year he plays 9 games?
Right.
I think maybe it was 6.
Right.
And then to start the season, he wasn't hitting any shots.
He was terrible at the beginning of the season.
Because
but
he didn't have his legs.
Right. And now I know people are saying, oh, he's only shooting like 33 or 34% or whatever. Right. But he was atrocious to start the season. And that I would love to see, and maybe you can look this up quickly, what his numbers have been since the turn of the calendar from 3. Because I would venture to say it's above 35%.
So he was shooting around high 30s for a while. Then he just had a shooting slump. Okay, so the numbers are now back down to 33% in February. But that was because he went 0 for 4 against the Mavs and 0 for 5 against the Wolves.
Right.
If he hits his usual, if he has 4 shots there, then he's at 40%.
Right.
So, but the point is you have to guard him. Oh, sorry, I turned my mic off.
I was going to say what happened.
The point is you have to guard him, and so I think
Tulsa?
You've gotten all of this toughness, and then George, on top of all of this, you add Jordan Goodwin, and you add Trey Jemison the third.
Yeah,
and they just
nice
play
G League
right
players.
into that toughness and the attitude.
What's the name of your
It
G
all
League
works.
coach again?
What's that?
The G League coach. What's his name? Your guy, South Bay.
What's that?
What's it? The G League head coach's name? What's his name again? I've talked to him a million times. I get
Zach
pictures.
Guthrie.
Zach Guthrie.
Yes.
I mean, you guys run a very. I mean, granted, you don't have LeBron and Luka down there, but you run a very similar system. It's very much like plug and play on the role players in what they can do. I mean, this is by design.
Yes, that's kind of like the whole. That's what Jemison was saying, and Guthrie gets some credit for this. He talks to JJ a lot
all the time. He says,
and they went out and I think they looked around the league and they brought Jemison in from elsewhere, then put him into the South Bay system. Right. Same thing with Goodwin.
Didn't he come from the Pelicans?
Well, so Goodwin has played 100 NBA games before this. So Pelicans, he was there. He was played for Phoenix for a while. So he's been a pro before. But just the way that the fact that they were able to see, all right, we've got LeBron and Luka and Austin Reeves. They're going to create more than enough shots for the whole team. What types of players fit best around them? And it's these dogs out there. It's the guys that
they got dogs.
They got plenty of them. I mean, even Jackson Hayes fits that. He never stops running and jumping. So it's just this is the formula that actually also works well.
I love the phrase "they've got dogs." I get made fun of a lot in my in one of my group chats, one of my basketball group chats, because I love dogs, and they make fun of me for it, and then I will send them pictures of dogs, literally just send pictures of dogs.
I mean, I would say though, you're not poodles though.
Darius
no,
like Rottweilers.
But big
No.
dogs
German Shepherds?
having fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Darius Garland said that Evan Mobley's dog.
There you go. I love dogs. Give me dogs on my team.
Just to inject the cat.
Give me a dog.
So don't
give me no meows.
And by the way, one thing I like too. So Austin Reeves is kind of your skill guy. He's actually also a dog.
Yeah.
He will battle. He will scrap. He will
Wait,
take
is he a
charge.
dog or is he a dog?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
He's a dog.
By the way, what I just said, don't give me any meows, that's actually from a drop from, there was a head coach at Coastal Carolina football who was saying that. Give me some dogs. I don't want no cats. I don't want no meows. Meow. That's what he said. I bet you if you find it on YouTube, Coastal Carolina coach, dogs and meows, you will find him saying it exactly like that.
So what's the point of all of this? It's the Lakers they are up to the 2 seed. They're percentage points ahead of Denver.
Yeah.
And there are other, Memphis is close behind them. Houston is close behind them. They have a tough schedule coming up. So I'm not guaranteeing they're going to finish in the number 2 spot.
Yeah.
But if they just want to stay in this top 4.
This schedule is wild.
Get home
in
court
March.
for the first round.
Yeah.
Luka is getting better every game.
Yeah.
The jump shot is going to fall to a greater extent.
Right.
And they've got, they didn't fill in, obviously, that center spot after the Mark Williams trade ends up getting rescinded. But it's enabled them to play this different style.
Yeah.
This style where they can play quote unquote smaller while still being big.
Yeah.
And that's a playoff type of group that finishes games.
Laser
so
lineup.
They are very
Why are you
clear.
laughing?
Very
That's why
clearly
I found this
contender.
clip.
Oh, you're listening to the Coastal Carolina coach. Didn't I not nail it?
This is amazing.
Yeah, I nailed it.
I don't know this.
Go, hold on. Listen.
So I said, what are you doing in here, little kitty cat? By that time, the cat turns, tries to get back out. That screen won't go that way. Cat starts going, meow, all crazy. And I told our players, we need more dogs. Bo's barking in the back. I have to go shut Bo up. Mel's like, what's going on? I said, there's a cat in the house. Cat in the house? I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house. So I told our players, I tried to let it out the front door. Meow, meow, the cat's still going crazy in there. And I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here meow, looking in the mirror. I look good. I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
There you go.
That's great.
I was
That's
pretty
great.
close.
That's great,
man. I mean, it's a great draw. Like, it just one of the funniest press conferences
What
I've
is
ever
that
seen.
from?
I don't know. It's
Just a
Coastal
post-game.
Carolina when they
Yeah.
were
Not
like
too
good,
long ago?
like in 20. I think that's like. It was
13 years ago.
Pre-pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
When they first became a FBS school.
I would like to challenge any coach out there, and maybe we could soft test this at the college level, to come up with like the thing beyond a dog. Like, is it a wolf? Is it like a certain type of tiger? Is it a certain type of
Like a
lion? Like
Yeah.
a lioness,
Yeah.
maybe? Because
Yeah, we need
sometimes the
something
male
else.
lions are
Yeah.
just sitting around chilling while the females do all the work
Yeah.
and go out and do the hunting. Like, is there an animal that we can – because there are a lot of kind of wimpy dogs, let's be honest.
Yeah. Hey, we only got 4 minutes here, so let's do this real quick.
Like, you don't want pugs out there.
Couple.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Oh,
I had a Frenchie.
Chewy's half pug, half Frenchie.
I have a Frenchie, and I love her dearly, but she wasn't out there grinding,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
I'll say that. She was
Cappy's
chilling.
Frenchie gums you now because she doesn't have any
Chewy's
teeth.
a dog.
Yeah.
Totally.
By the way, so last 22 games, Lakers 18-4, 7-2 since the addition of Doncic. And look, this schedule, to your point, in March, tough. 17 games in 30 days, 3 back-to-backs as well. All right, so real quick, it's time for Dealer's Choice, the real deal Dealer's Choice, brought to you by Seller's Advantage. Want to sell your home? Before you call an agent, call Seller's Advantage. They'll buy it as is with a competitive cash offer. No repairs needed. They make selling easy. Call them at 888-390-AS-IS for a no-obligation offer, or visit them at sellersadvantage.com. All right, Dealer's Choice. Do you have anything you want, Dealer's Choice? I mean, you already kind of went cheese on us. So you didn't like cheese.
I have something.
Oh, Lindsay's got something.
They closed the pantry.
What pantry?
The original
The one
pantry
down the street?
cafe. Yes.
Really?
They closed it. Despite there being like always long lines, despite being Brian Windhurst's one of his favorite or at least most frequent in places when he's LA, they closed it over the weekend. And it was over like a labor dispute because they wanted all of the workers to like leave the union.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is wild.
Yeah. And I'm like sad because I was trying to go there like ASAP, like this week, because Brian Windhurst kept saying it's great, delicious breakfast food. I don't know if they had a surcharge on eggs, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore.
I love breakfast, man. I literally, so today I had to meet I landed around, don't even get me started. Like, so we landed today, and my wife and I we were going to go to an appointment. I told her, hey, I can go straight from the airport, meet you there. And she's like, oh, I had to push it back to like 10:45. And originally we were going to meet somewhere at 9:30. I was like, oh. I'm like, all right. So I had breakfast at the Delta Lounge today.
Oh, how was it?
It was delicious. So they
What'd
have,
you have?
like a breakfast taco person, and they made like eggs, and so I made a little breakfast taco with like chorizo and like eggs and stuff. But to your point, I love good breakfast. Yeah, a little guac on it.
Yeah.
I love a good breakfast. So the fact that the pantry's closing is very sad for me because I could eat breakfast all day.
And it has nothing to do with the egg price. Nothing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to say anything bad about breakfast, guys. I mean, I think we all love breakfast.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We
What is
all
your
love
favorite
cheese,
breakfast?
and you don't love cheese, so
I put some cheese on my breakfast tacos.
Obviously, I'm not getting.
Would you put cheese on your tacos?
No. Why would I do
What?
that? No, dude.
What?
No taco. No.
No, like Americano style?
No. So here's what's in my taco. Okay.
Onions and cilantro?
Either barbacoa or beef or chicken, whatever. Like
Right.
all the meats are
Onion, cilantro?
fine. Cilantro's fine. Jalapenos.
No onions?
Lettuce. No onions. Lettuce, jalapenos, green
So
olives.
you don't even do street tacos or Americano?
Green
or
olives,
gringo?
and then ideally some avocado, or like it could be.
Yeah, I mean, avocado's always good for
Yeah,
you.
I mean that's plenty.
It's a healthy touch.
And then as hot of sauce as I can find.
Okay.
are olives like a is that like a staple of tacos?
I mean,
I've never really heard
I've
of
never
that.
heard of it either, but he's a big olive lover.
You
Apparently.
throw the green olives in the tacos. Trust me. It's a great addition. Yeah, it's just something. And now I'm obviously not going to have that for breakfast, but I would have a nice breakfast burrito.
I wonder what's
going to
replace the pantry.
I want the cooked potatoes, like the hash brown style. Yeah. I want that
charred.
In there. Charred ideally. Yeah. But sometimes you don't have that option.
I'm super bummed out. I used to go over there all the time and just order an omelet or something and just grab it. And
I like an omelet.
They're hoping to sell it.
Similar toppings for me. There.
What a bummer.
I mean,
can we start a GoFundMe to start a business?
Should. I'll have
Save the pantry.
Cappy running it.
Real quick, last thing. Standings watch today.
Yeah.
So you got Houston playing OKC. So you're rooting for OKC to give Houston another L, and you got Memphis playing Atlanta.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just
all
check
right.
it out.
All right. Great job, Michael.
Hey, it's been fun.
Back tomorrow?
I am back tomorrow.
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
Excellent. Great job to the boys in the back. Lindsay and DeAndre, excellent work.
Hell yeah.
LA Kings, Blackhawks coming up next. So make sure you stay tuned for that as the Kings need to get off the schneid as they've lost 3 in a row. So stick around for that. Kings, Blackhawks.